Hi, guys. Welcome back to the Break Room Podcast. Sorry we don't have an intro today, but we're kind of flying by the seat of our pants. But we came back a half hour earlier than normal, which is nice. 8:30 show, so we're actually going to get a normal night's sleep tonight.
Takes
but
Chris
welcome
a
to
half
the
hour to
show.
put the intro video on.
It's nice.
10 minutes.
Sorry,
Nice.
Vin.
10 more minutes.
I still
It's
love
a
you,
sin.
Vin.
It's all right. 6 other days a week we don't do anything, so this is a good time. Last 30 minutes before
The
we
GTA
start.
Valet does.
Let's do it.
The GTA Valet's doing shit.
Doing shit. Drizzling shits.
How does that go again, Chris?
Just another day in the life of the GTA Valet.
playing-
And this time,
It's playing GTA like it's a big fucking.
no
Oh.
GTA.
15-year-old
Oh, I played GTA
Watch.
today. I never do that.
It's a sin.
Yeah, no, I don't get to.
Help.
Not as
Help
much as
me.
I'd like.
Well, we got the full cast in the studio once again.
Cast is here.
And they're doing the SmackDown and Raw drafts, so they're trying to pick who's going to go onto what program and all that shit.
Fake
So they're
draft.
pretending to be the NFL. So, but we got that on the background, and I guess I kick off the show with another "What's in the Box."
What's in the box?
Um,
Oh, God.
so Joe was lucky enough to come across one of the elusive Walmart exclusive Turtles of Grayskull figures. This is the Krang figure, currently getting marked up the ass on all the eBay and all that shit.
How much is it marked up?
I probably like $40, something like that. It's not worth $40 though. So that's why I hate when they get an exclusive, because it's nigh impossible to get your hands on them. And then there's also
Bret Hart
the,
that I've been trying to get for fucking 2 months.
yeah, so he's been looking for the ultimate Bret Hart in the red box with the black jacket and black pants.
Montreal Screwjob, Bret Hart.
Montreal Screwjob Bret Hart. We're going to open this live on the show and get some first impressions of the figure.
You gonna break everybody's heart by opening that?
Well, I got two, and the other one is unpunched. So this is the lesser of two evils.
Unpunched.
Unpunched. It's not Mike Tyson. It's not punched out.
Logic and Asa Isil are in the house.
There we go. Oh, he's got some cool accessories here. He's a beefier, bigger figure than the rest of the line.
Well, the Walmart exclusives come in a different box, though, too.
Well, it's just because it's a deluxe figure. Because if you get the Trap Jaw figure or Mouse Jaw figure from Target, it also has a deluxe size box. But it seems that the Build-A-Figure series that they're making for that Target exclusive line, it's like going to be one of four. So God knows what other characters are going to actually have those pieces. And if I'll even be able to collect them all, because the Build-A-Figure for that line is actually going to be a mashup of Roboto from He-Man and Metalhead from which is the cyborg that Donatello creates. And what's cool is this has like an extra waist piece that you can actually put Krang in.
Give him some ASMR. Do it right up on the mic so
I
they
know,
hear
right?
the crinkle.
It's really
Oh, yeah.
new toy smell. I'm a
You
weirdo. I
smell
like
it?
to smell my new toys. It's
Smell
about 40% of the enjoyment of
Is
opening
that
a new toy.
JBL?
What, at the SmackDown table?
No, the Raw table.
Oh, yeah, look at him. He is there. I think
So it
that's
looks
him,
like
unless
he's
it's
got
somebody
a-
else in a
Who
cowboy
else
hat.
is that?
They just turned Carlito heel, I guess, by
Yeah.
the way.
Yep.
Anybody that cares.
SmackDown.
Smack.
Fucking biggest guy on the
down.
roster.
Wow. It's always an adventure. I didn't want to do this on the show live, but we're doing it. So,
Oh, they tape them down. They make it impossible.
well, not only tape them down, they put those little annoying like plastic like little things with the little T,
Shackles.
and you got to rip those. But they do rip pretty easily. And here we go. Oh, and of course you get your little
Comic book?
mini. Well, it's actually not a comic for these ones. It just kind of gives you a little
Summary.
info thing about the guy.
Comic.
Mutagen Master's Power Krang, Genius Alien Warlord, Master Strategist and Tactician, Dimension X Gadgets and Tech, and Megator. So Megator was a big green figure from the vintage line that had a very limited release. I think it was only released in Europe, and it was one of two 12-inch vintage He-Man figures that were made. Titus being the other one.
Titus.
So it's supposed to be like the He-Man good guy one. And then I think the way this works is you pop this off here.
His head.
get that on here. Oh, maybe you got to take this off.
Did any of you guys see that commercial that was on with people washing each other's feet?
Yeah, he
Something-
washes your feet, dude.
It's a cast
He is
system.
risen.
Yeah, there's a caste system. Why
risen.
would
There we
anybody?
go.
I don't understand the.
Why would anybody want to get a foot massage? Want to go back there again?
Where's
Oh,
Craig?
well, washing somebody else's feet and say, "Oh, well, Jesus washed feet." What? Okay, what am I supposed to? Am I gonna fucking convert to Christianity
How
because
do
I
you know
saw
he
somebody
washed-
washing feet?
How do you know he washed?
That's what it
feet?
said on the commercial. It just showed a bunch of people having their feet washed.
I think you should wash my feet,
I think we're
and then you should
Been
wipe
into
your own
this, like,
ass for
10
bringing
minutes.
I don't know what's happening.
off the rails.
It was
talking
on
about
the
Jesus.
commercial there.
I'm paying
Didn't
attention. I'm
take
watching
long.
him put Krang in the belly.
I'm trying to fit his little hands in
Struggling
the
there.
holes there. There we go. All right, so he kind of reaches out there, which is kind of cool.
Listen, God needs
And,
advertisements too. You know?
Well, what's the deal? Why is he like a brain in a stomach? How does that?
Well, because he's he's a
What?
little alien guy, and he's got a robot, and like he's just an alien race that's a brain. So he's a genius. So he creates the robot for him to like travel around in and shit.
Do we even watch Star Wars?
Nah, Ninja Turtles.
Star
kid.
Wars. I'm not a Ninja
I was
Turtle.
born in
1996. I don't know.
You're
I don't
born.
know
He's
how
not
you
born in
say-
'96.
I'm trying
What are you
to
born? '91.
91. Yeah, trying to educate the
I think you
people a
popped the
little bit
hand
while
off
we're.
here.
Rob does a fantastic Krang.
So that's a robot, not a
Well, this particular
Living-
line, it's a
a
crossover
crossover.
of He-Man and Ninja Turtles.
In
so-
Ninja Turtles, he controls like this big mech robot suit that has like the remote control handle over. Otherwise, he can't walk. He can't do anything. He's just a brain.
He's a brain. He sits
He's
in a
super
chair.
genius. They could never get him.
I want those turtles. Ah! Yeah, that kind of goes in there and like
I'm hoping
It's
this last Ronin
something like
game
that,
re-sparks like a lot of
and
fandom.
then
When are we ever gonna get that? Like
the game.
oh,
in
we
development,
are. Yeah, it's
you
in
know.
development. It's
Sure
going to
it
be
is.
like an Arkham style.
2027.
Yeah, PS6. Get ready. Gear up.
Oh,
Start saving now.
Little Joe's in the house. He's gonna probably
There it
remark
is.
about my
There he is.
pajamas.
That's him in all
He
his
took a
glory.
break. Joe's been crushing it. Joe's been smashing Fallout 4. He does want to play Sea of Thieves. I know we're going to talk
Look at
about that later.
Is he in the frame? Does he look good?
Yeah, he's a little out of focus, but he still looks good until he falls over.
Oh, he's
probably.
definitely going to fall. There's no question he's falling.
That chain actually might help because it almost makes it like a tripod.
That's why I put
stance.
it on him because I figured he'd have a better chance of standing with that thing hanging.
And just a
in the front.
slight bit back, but the weight's keeping him.
Yeah, he's like,
Help! Up!
No,
Help!
I know.
Help me!
it was a little wobbly. I'm just going to put him down.
How many of these figures are there?
Well, the first wave had
What's up, brother?
3 of the 4 turtles plus Shredder, the Mouse Jaw figure, Ram Man, mutated He-Man, an exclusive Man-at-Arms, and an exclusive Beast Man. That was the first line.
Jesus. Okay.
then-
Ron Breaker's out.
There's going to be 3 more pieces that go to the Mouse Jaw guy Build-A-Figure. So that's another 3 that have yet to be even announced, I think, because they announced the next wave, but they didn't say which ones were going to be part of that Build-A-Figure line.
Mm-hmm.
Because then they're going to have Casey Jones, they're going to have Tila, they're going to have April O'Neil, they're going to have Michelangelo, they're going to have Skeletor. They're gonna. There's the Moss Man that was released with Krang that I didn't get. That's the only one that's currently released right now that I don't have. They did a pre-order on Slacker, which is another crossover between Slash and Faker. Faker is like the blue He-Man. Slash is like the bad turtle guy.
Mm-hmm.
He needs a different finisher.
There's a bunch of there's a bunch of Casey Jones has been announced. Splinter's been announced. There's a bunch of them. So
Yeah. So, like,
there's
30
gonna be a healthy line of these things, which is not healthy for my wallet.
No, it's not.
Because then I have to buy 2 and keep one in the box and then open one, and it's just debauchery. But I am happy with this figure. I think it's really nice mold, and I like the idea that they're making bigger He-Man style figures because they really didn't have that in the original line. They all were pretty much exactly the same size. And they did the same thing with the Superstars line. I should have put him on the show just to compare the sizes, but I got Andre the Giant over there, and he's another
Everybody wanted
bigger
to know.
figure. And What I thought was really genius is that you get mileage out of the figure because you get 2 different hairstyles. You also get swappable color boots, and then you can take his black leotard off, and he has the blue trunks. So he can be like 70s in shape Andre the Giant, or he can be like the 90s with the black leotard, classic, Winged Eagle, WrestleMania 3 Andre the Giant. So I'm excited with the toys.
Did anybody else think of Jim the Anvil Neidhart when Breaker just came out in that outfit?
It's more like what
That goatee. It's doing it too.
It's the pink and black, man. He's wearing the pink and black
his
singlet.
dad and his uncle used to wear a lot of like wild singlets like that. I don't like that he's doing a spear. We're talking about Braun Breaker on SmackDown just in a squash match against Swerve Strickland. No,
Yeah, against
Jabroni.
Cedric Alexander.
One move.
And he does this spear. Like there's like 5 guys that do this spear, and he needs to get rid of that stupid Goldberg tattoo. Like I know Goldberg was like his hero, but Jesus Christ, pick a better fucking hero.
you
than
know,
that.
getting rid of it. It's only covering it up.
Cover it up. Put something else.
He's
on
filling
it.
the role though by doing the spear. It's almost like he's inheriting the
I'm sick of
mantle
this-
of the
I'm
big
sick of the spear.
Goldberg. They gave him a Goldberg match. He just
Yeah,
squashed
but
him.
Roman Reigns does a spear now. Jey Uso does a spear.
Well, Roman Reigns is going to be
Edge
back for
does
a while.
a spear.
So.
Like all these guys, like get him a
Braun
better
Breaker do
move
an
than
F5
that.
or something.
Give him a better move than that.
Show off his strength. Like,
It's got to be
able
something
to
like
show
a
this.
spear though that
Clothesline, Steiner line.
clothesline. But a clothesline's just. I mean, that's just a regular average move now. So I mean, you
So
can't
is the
give him a
spear.
clothesline. So is the spear.
Cody kicked out of 4 spears at WrestleMania.
It's but with Braun, it actually means something because they're always showing the stats of the speed, of how he's running and hitting off the ropes and
I'm
stuff.
not into it. I'm not into it.
Shaking the whole
Yeah,
ring.
he's
Oh,
he's
there's
an
Tiffany
explosive guy. He's kind of like
If
the
Jackie's
modern-day
watching,
Ultimate
Jackie, I'm
Warrior.
praying that she doesn't get drafted because I know you want to see her on SmackDown.
Yeah, Braun's
And-
definitely the power. He's the unit.
Rob, that's Tiffany Stratton.
Okay, that's nice.
That's nice.
She's cute,
Yes, it is.
very cute. But so what's the point of this draft? They're gonna divvy up the guys through the company, and then that's like
Well, the whole
year,
idea
and
is
then they do it again next year. Or?
Raw and SmackDown are supposed to be 2 different brands with 2 different rosters,
I
at least
hate
right
it.
now.
Hate it.
I enjoy it. I think you need to do that in order for everybody to get their TV time and their shine. Otherwise you just have fucking Roman on both shows, and I don't
Sucks.
want that. So I'd rather 2 different rosters and both guys get a main event and whatnot. And yeah, they do a draft every year just to shake things up a bit, keep things interesting. And right now they're doing a draft, and it hasn't
Well,
been
they
very
haven't
interesting.
They haven't shaken.
They haven't
anything.
shaken anything. It's
Nothing.
really nobody's really changed brands here. Well, there's Michelle McCool. That's the
Oh,
Undertaker's
God.
wife.
I
She
think
cut
they're
her hair.
struggling a lot with a lot of the injuries that they're having. Like
There's a
an
lot
astronomical
of-
amount of injuries.
All their mains have gone away. for
There's a
while.
lot of injuries.
Cody once again is carrying the company because he's the only one that's still healthy.
I just mean
Oh,
Seth-
Tori
Seth
Wilson.
Rollins.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
there she is.
I'm really hyped though for Cody versus
I was in
AJ
love with her.
Styles.
God.
That's going to be a great match. That's a dream
So we're getting
match.
a preview of
Unlike
that.
the AEW shit that they fucking castrate and
Before we
fucking-
get that, I do want to say
It's coming
it is
up
a
before I even
foregone
seen it.
conclusion.
Jesus
You know who's going to win that. I mean, I don't see AJ.
Well, yeah,
beating
but the
Cody.
matter of it, you're going to get a great match out of it.
Right, and I think it was a better choice than LA Knight because
You're
you don't
gonna
want
start
LA
to
Knight to just
see-
lose right away.
No.
Save
And you
that.
don't want him against a good guy. You want him against a good bad guy.
Right.
That's what I said. WrestleMania is you need to start feeding Cody really good heels. And right now, AJ's pretty good. He's pretty good as a heel.
Question for you then.
And he can put on a 5-star match with a broomstick.
Yeah.
Was Cody's feud with Seth Rollins better than his with Roman because they put on better matches?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and I mean, there's nothing will ever top that Hell in a Cell match with the torn pec. I mean, that really solidified that rivalry. It made you want to see everything. And it added to Cody's story because he left WWE, came back, he had his return, and then he tore his pec, and he had that crazy match, and then he had a second return. So I mean,
I feel like Roman
Yeah.
almost, I don't want to say devalued Cody, but because Roman doesn't have mic skill, they didn't have to trade blows in the ring on the mic. Because the wrestling isn't as entertaining, the matches were
It
kind
was
of
more
the
of the
same
story
thing.
with him.
Right, and The Rock, obviously,
Yeah, it was-
bringing...
they propelled the story more with Roman
God.
for Cody to finish the story, where it
Right.
was more about the actual physical match with Seth Rollins. The
Right.
3 matches that he had were very, very good.
So I hope now with the AJ Styles match, it brings back Cody. It emphasizes Cody's athleticism, the things that wowed me in the first match when we saw him come into WWE. It was like, wow, this guy's athletic.
You're going to see that.
That's what I'm hoping for now. He needs
Yeah,
that.
we're going to see that more now that he's going to have better competition. I hate to say that Roman Reigns wasn't, but he wasn't.
He wasn't known for
think
5-star wrestling matches.
No,
you know.
It definitely held him back a little
And
bit.
especially towards the end, he was known for the only reason he's winning these matches because the bloodline was interfering, and it
Right.
got very old.
It got old after the 100th time.
like after like 3 or 4 times. Like, all right, come on, guys. Like,
The
if he can't win
thumb.
on his own, why the fuck is he still the
The
champion?
Thumb of Doom,
It's the thumb.
which was Umanga's move first.
Uminga.
Yeah.
Umanga.
So they still actually, speaking on that, they haven't brought in, Tonga, right? They're still holding him back?
No, Tama Tonga's in. They
Oh.
haven't brought in Jacob Fatu,
Jacob.
who's another brother of them. Right? He is one of the brothers of the Usos.
He's a big fuck.
He's part of
he's a tough-looking motherfucker.
He's big and he's super athletic. Like he's like a smaller Rikishi that can do like moonsaults and flips.
I've seen him go
and
out of the ring,
he's-
over the top, like
He's pretty fucking
pretty
yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
They'll probably save that then. You think like Backlash, they'll build up
But
something.
I-
People were saying they were saving it for the draft, they thought.
I
Maybe.
don't like watching someone like Carmelo Hayes' weight doing flips because I think it just looks
Right.
predetermined and fake.
Yeah.
But when you're like 300 pounds and then you're doing that, it's like it's more impactful because if this fuck lands on you, it's gonna hurt.
Right.
So it kind of gives you that realism factor where it's more believable to see a big dude, do high flying shit than a little guy who's flying around like a feather on you. Like
Right.
it just doesn't work for me.
Why don't the female wrestlers go more into the technical Bret Hart style of wrestling?
They do now.
one
I mean,
can
that's
do
all
that.
they
They
want to
can't
show
do
you now
that.
is that
They
they
can't.
can do that.
That's
Not
'cause
many can do it.
Not many.
only because I think we've talked about this in the past. How do you make it better? It's obviously here to stay, but I think when you watch a Bret Hart match, because it's not as physical, it's not as Hulkamania.
Well, it's
more-
physical, but he's executing moves flawlessly. He's in sequence doing.
The tumble into
Targeting
the
a
roll up,
limb.
It's just not.
telling a story.
It's just not the way that they wrestle anymore.
They gotta bring that
Wrestling
back.
has gone to more of a Shawn Michaels flashy,
Overpower.
show off,
40 super kicks.
show off all their moves in one match kind of.
Did you just blame Shawn Michaels for all that?
He sucks. I did. He sucks.
With his style
Snuck that in
withstood
there,
the
just
test of time longer than Bret Hart's.
No, it hasn't. Because I still go back and watch Bret Hart matches. I don't watch Shawn.
You
Michaels.
do, but the rest of the world doesn't.
No, they do. Oh, they do.
It's
not his voice,
not
so-
many.
Oh, damn.
Ron Breaker drafted to Raw.
And Randy Orton's on SmackDown, which I'm not sure if he
That-
was already.
He already was.
Yeah. We do have some good comments in here, so and I know you have a bone to pick with Stephen Bias, so
Is
I'll
he in
start
there?
with his. He is in here.
Oh, we got some more.
So there were some. I'll say Asa, and also correct us. Is it Asa or is it Asa? Asil. Let us know. Said
Hey,
always
Sil.
good to. We'll just say Sil.
Hey.
Always good to shake things up and keeping things fresh with the WWE draft. Agreed. It just definitely it changes things a little bit. Hasn't been as exciting as it used to be, but from the we're gonna withhold what From the Dungeon said because we're gonna talk about that in a minute. But yes, we did see that dungeon. We'll talk a little bit more about that run. But Stephen Bias says as long as they hold Gunther from Cody as long as possible because the style they have will go great together. And I agree.
You see,
Save
that
that.
would have been my number one pick, not fucking Jey Uso. I would have picked Gunther to SmackDown.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. They're saving
That's
that, I
enough, not
guess.
Bianca Belair. Like the fuck, I give
I
a shit
know.
about her.
Yeah. It is a
Well,
little silly. Maybe
they're
we'll see
pushing.
Gunther pop
My
up
only
now.
problem with this draft is when we got tickets to SmackDown at Madison Square Garden, and oh wow, Liv Morgan already on Raw, drafted to Raw, whatever. That means they better keep Tiffany on SmackDown so Jackie doesn't kill me because she loves Tiffany Stratton and she got tickets for her and Renee to go see them at Madison Square Garden.
Nice.
And if Tiffany gets drafted to Raw, she won't get to see her now. So
Oh,
I'm
wow.
hoping-
Nia Jax. I didn't even notice they
Yeah.
drafted her.
So my only problem is like
God.
I won't see Braun Breaker now because I'm going to SmackDown.
Right.
Boo.
I won't see Jey Uso because I'm going to SmackDown. We went to Raw. Luckily, the Raw that we went to was a week before WrestleMania, and they were all there. But when you do the draft and you split the rosters, you're splitting the fan base up, and you're splitting up my experience with the product.
But you might not have been able to see them anyway because it's only
Card is full.
only a 3-hour show, but they only show so much.
No,
I
we
mean,
would have
you
been
know.
able to see them. We wouldn't have had fucking Ricochet versus whoever. We wouldn't have the jabronis filling up the fucking 3 hours. We would have had all the stars show up.
Yeah.
And The problem with this is they use filler shit to like fill up 2 or 3 hours. Put all the top guys on the show. If you're not good enough for the show, take your ass to NXT and get good. I'm sorry,
And house
but the
shows.
competition, it just needs to. They need to bring it back. They're not getting competition from AEW, which is a fucking mudslide fucking show.
Yeah,
The
we'll
shows
get
the
to
drizzling
that.
fucking shits.
Well, so what was your bone to pick with? And I'll say Stephen Bias added Gunther is the next monster, and I love him. So old school with the new flair. So what's your bone to pick with Stephen?
Well, Gunther's great. He just needs to talk less because he's too awkward when he talks.
I
doesn't-
like his
not-
German. He's German. Yeah.
It's not there. He needs to.
Needs a
like,
Paul
He needs
Heyman.
Paul
He needs a
Heyman,
Paul
yeah.
Heyman. He really does.
He's Paul Heyman.
Right. That'll happen soon. They
So,
have to divorce.
me and
though.
Steve had a spat on Twitter when over the weekend AEW had their
X.
Dynasty pay-per-view, and they've been hyping this dream match between Will Ospreay and
Daniel Bryan.
and Bryan
I know how I
Danielson,
feel.
Bryan Danielson.
who I'm not a huge fan of to begin with. And Will Ospreay is just nothing but a spot wrestler. He does flips and, oh my God, he could flip off the top rope. And, oh wow, he ducked kicks and he's doing this flip. And they reversed each other's moves. And, oh, he kicked out of a finisher 6 fucking times and almost killed him by fucking doing a backflip. And Bryan Danielson lands on his fucking neck. It's just sloppy.
Which that was
It's
part of the
sloppy,
story. That wasn't
and
real.
everybody on the internet, and when we were talking about internet, we're talking about Twitter or X. Like, oh my God, this is the best shit I've ever seen. Holy shit!
Yeah,
And then this
gobbling it up.
fucking idiot Steve, who's one of my best friends, goes on to fucking say that this is the best match I've ever seen in my life, and he's just sucking Tony Khan's little fucking dick with his little fucking kayfabe fucking neck breaks. Fuck you,
we'll
Steve.
get there.
The show sucked. That match was good. It was a good fucking match. But you're going to sit here and tell me at a 50 years old that you are, been watching pro wrestling for 40 fucking years, that's the best match you ever seen in your life? Fuck Bret Hart and Stone Cold. Fuck The Undertaker and Shawn Michaels. Fuck Kurt Angle and all those fucking matches that you've seen. That's the best match that you've seen because 2 people on Twitter fucking liked it. Fuck you, Steve. I'll fucking drive to West Virginia and I'll fucking skull fuck you, Steve.
Whoa. That's how Joe feels about the AEW.
I think that they always try to say this was the most legendary match of all
It's an
time after
overhyped
every match.
Legendary? Okay.
Fucking carny fucking show is all it is. It's an indie-rific fucking bullshit show.
It's the Amber
And
Heard
I
of
gave them a
wrestling.
lot of fucking money. I gave them a lot of fucking money in the beginning. I would watch their fucking shows. I do like Kenny Omega, even though he's a little too showmanship, fake fucking wrestling, flippy fucking shit for me. But they had a great roster, and they were building towards it. And then they fucked it up. They alienated Cody. They fucked the thing up with CM Punk, and they continue to just say stupid shit on fucking Twitter. Like, Chris, do you want to go over what fucking Tony Khan said on fucking NFL Live?
I do,
recently?
but a couple of things to add. First, I'll say that I was saying this shit from the start. I mean, you were
Chris called it.
But you were saying it when it actually was halfway decent. When it actually had a roster.
in
that
the
was
very
worth watching.
beginning. I was a supporter. I wanted to like it. I tried. I actually actively tried to enjoy the show. I didn't, but I was like, let me give it time. I don't care about any of these guys yet, but maybe that's my fault.
Let me
Maybe if
break
I
this-
give it
let me
more
break this
time,
down
I'll
for
be
you
more
right
of a
here,
fan.
and I'll show you how much I can't stand it. Goldberg went on to on
Yeah.
you know what I'm about to say.
Yeah.
And I cannot stomach Goldberg.
Yeah.
And he said that he wouldn't sign with AEW because he thinks the product is too cheesy.
Cheesy. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
That's Goldberg saying that.
yeah. And I mean, let's just recap a couple of things. So they had a lot of big new signees the past year. They had Edge, didn't really make a difference. They had Mercedes Moné or Money or
That's going to
Sasha
put
Banks.
asses in seats.
Nothing.
Yeah, that is, really
Bathroom
exposed her
promo.
because her promos have not been very good, and people have been saying like, "What is this shit?" Who else did they sign? They had a couple of other big
Will
signings.
Ospreay and Okada, who's overrated.
and nothing. It's still not changing. it.
Japanese hype wrestlers, they're in Japan, and people fucking see them like, oh my God, did you see that match? He chopped him like he almost killed him. And then they come to the States, and they're small, they don't look like they're fucking workout. They don't look like they fucking been to a gym in their
American
life.
wrestling fans expect something different from people in Japan. People in Japan like a
There
certain
are
style
there
of
are certain
wrestling.
wrestlers out of Japan that I really enjoyed throughout the years.
Sure.
He's just
I mean,
not one of
Shinsuke.
them.
I think
yeah.
Shinsuke is entertaining to
Yes.
watch.
Yes.
I don't know what. Oh, Rob's running. But okay, let's I'll pull it up here. Well, Stephen Bias said first off, so I was trying to buy some time here.
We don't have time for you, Steve.
Try to buy
No,
it.
He deserves a rebuttal.
Your
He
headphones,
deserves a
bud.
rebuttal.
Fair enough.
Everybody gets to see how fair-skinned I am.
Where is he going?
Waiting for Joe to call me
I know.
pale.
You got headphones on.
You gotta take a shit.
So we have some other comments too here.
Huh?
Start talking about AEW. He's got to take a shit, dude.
All right, let
Talking
the
about
guy
the
let the
drizzling
guy go
shits.
in privacy.
We talk about AEW. He's got a shit.
Jordan Kirby says, "Who's going to be the next NXT call-up?" I mean, they did have Lexus King right front and center. I don't know if he's been on NXT long enough, but he was at the front of the
I hate
camera
that
shot.
name. Just
so.
call him Pillman. Fuck.
I agree, but it'll it's eventually gonna. It's already starting to matter
look
less.
at Cody Rhodes. He used the name. He's
works.
made it into his own. You still think of Dusty when you think of Cody, but
He had to
Cody's
fight for
made
that.
it of his own. Yes,
He had to
but,
fight for
but
it.
I would like Braun to use Steiner, and I would like Pillman to use Pillman.
I agree. I don't know what the I guess they
They
want to
just said
trademark
Braun
it.
Breaker drafted to Raw. He's the son of WWE Hall of Famer Rick Steiner. They're basically
Why even
telling
have
you
to
They're
say
already
his name is
acknowledging
fucking
it.
Steiner.
Just take that whole
Just
thing
fuck
and
Because they
take
want
away
to
the
own the
guesswork.
intellectual
Oh,
property
I get
of
that.
the
That's
name,
true. The Cody
because then
thing.
when he leaves, then he takes that name with him, if it's his own name, and then they lose, I guess. I don't know, but that's always been a tactic that WWE has used where they, Bryan Danielson was Daniel Bryan,
Cody was given the advice not to change the Intercontinental belt back to the Classic because you don't get royalties on that because it's not custom to your brand. He didn't know that.
Well, the other thing too is they don't want to and I give them credit, it's really more on merit where it's like, you don't get to just come in with your father's name and, that means that you're on his level.
For sure.
And
Absolutely.
that's where Cody had to go through this whole journey where he left, and then when he was in AEW, goddamn. When he was in AEW, he
I'll interrupt your thought.
so Bianca Belair is strutting her way down. Obviously a star. But Cody, he lost the rights to his name, and actually WWE they owned a trademark and they ended up giving it over to him when he was still in AEW, and I guess that was a nice gesture that they made towards him and probably helped contribute to him coming back to WWE. But he was just known by Cody at the time. So Stephen Bias replied, he said, "Wrestling is fucking carny. It always has been carny, and talent is talent. McMahon has an 88-year-old woman birth a hand on TV, and I loved it." Which I love that too. I don't care. It's considered one of the worst things ever.
Fucking terrible.
He said, "Why Joe has turned against anything outside of WWE is mental. It's almost as bad as Xbox versus PlayStation.
evolved.
I'm not one of those AEW marks who hate on WWE." And from the Dungeon said at some point, he said, "Exactly, Dungeon. It's all awesome." Here's the thing, though. I don't think that's true. I don't think Joe's doing the tribal thing. Tribalism. AEW has really been stoking that. We're gonna show in a second what Tony Khan said. I actually have the video.
Joe was fair because
Joe was very pro AEW, and
Yeah,
I was the
like-
one saying, it's not that good though.
But
And-
I don't have a problem with AEW, and I'm not trying to make it's not WWE versus AEW. It's me versus Steve's stupid fucking comments. When Steve goes on Twitter, and he's been watching wrestling longer than I am, and that's hard to do, and he tells me this is the best match I've ever seen, I got a real fucking problem with that.
Yeah, it's not.
I got a
It's
real
little,
big
like-
fucking problem
yeah,
with that.
best match of all time is
Get the fuck
come
out of
on.
here.
Come
I
on.
watched that match. At best, I would give it 4 stars out of 5. And
Which
that's
is
saying
good.
a lot.
Which is good.
There was
Need
no
that.
blood. There was no color, brother. They didn't get color. Yeah, they didn't really have any build up to the
That's
match.
not
other
even a
than-
requirement for me.
Steve, you want to watch a real dream match? Watch Backlash, Cody Rhodes versus AJ Styles. That's going to be a dream match for you, Steve. All
Jade
right.
Cargill.
Ooh, Jade Cargill.
I was gonna say a more
That's-
modest outfit than usual until she turned around. And,
Turned the other
Um,
way. I saw the Undertaker said that they should introduce a woman's Intercontinental belt.
he said that they've
Yeah.
been Natalia Neidhart's been
believe-
arguing.
Undertaker's been out
I'm
there.
just
He's
gonna
been
bite my tongue.
He's been out there.
There's a brawl going on now.
KO
in
Oh,
the
they
middle
just
of
on
it
my
all.
tongue.
Oh, that's still going on. That started
Yeah, it
earlier out in the
started
parking lot.
backstage, and they're still fighting.
That's
I don't know where
pretty cool.
Solo is to
It's
save
the
him.
funniest part of the show. I've
So
seen.
we are kind of watching along. So we apologize for the little scattered brainness,
one.
but that's part of the live
That's
watch
we're live,
along.
pal.
The live watch along. All right. So,
oh wow, he just
and I'll just add to.
Solo.
Oh, there's
Kevin
Solo.
Owens.
Kale slammed the
Owens.
shit out of him.
I'll just add that for me, what did it with AEW was that exploding barbed wire death match. I won't go on and on about it, but you know, I tried to like AEW. I
Exploding?
paid
Say
the
it again.
$50.
Say it.
Exploding barbed wire death match.
No, like the announcer. Exploding you
Exploding barbed wire death match. You know, they made it like it was going to be a big deal, and it was like sick, and then it ended up being a corny ass match.
Wait, who was that?
But that's just security guards
Oh,
now
he-
that
he's
they're.
like an NXT wrestler.
Yeah, he actually grabbed them, and then they're. All right, so yeah,
Nice.
you know, I want to like AEW, but the problem is that the
I'm not
CEO.
shutting
Tony
this
Khan.
I'm not shutting this show off until Steve admits in the comments that his comment was wrong.
That it was not
The
the best
best
match
match
of all
Not
time.
the
ever.
best match of all time.
Ever.
That's fair. Oh, there's Randy Orton.
Randy Orton's gonna
So
come
we're
close.
gonna show you guys what Tony Khan said. If I can pull this up here, I think I should be
Fucking
able
Steve
to.
Rubel.
This is
Ooh.
what I was pulling up instead of the intro video. With the limited time I had, I was trying to make sure this worked. So let's see if this actually plays or not.
Because of that devastating Meltzer driver, which has been rebranded.
Well,
I
honestly,
understand?
guys,
Yeah.
they changed the name a couple months ago to the Tony Khan driver. Maybe I should have
It's
seen
not
it
showing,
coming in
but you could
hindsight.
hear it.
Wait, you knew they changed it a couple months ago?
I mean, the clues were there.
They called it the Tony Khan driver. You know,
is
I
this
have a
shit?
complicated relationship with Matt and Nick and Jack. Jack had been.
So Tony Khan
out
is
of
on,
AEW for a while. I'd sent him on an
like the
excursion
NFL
to
Network.
our partner
That's the
in
other thing that
Japan,
bothers me
where
about
he
this,
did
but
great
go ahead.
things.
Let it go.
I reinstated him Wednesday night on
Just
TBS.
he's
by
explaining what
his own
happened to him
request.
because apparently
He
his
repaid me by
friends
hitting
pile
me in
drivered
the
him.
stomach with a microphone.
Let's go to the
His moves in pro wrestling. It's been banned in a
All
lot
right,
of
all
states.
right, shut
and
up.
I just feel really lucky that I'm.
So he's
here.
wearing a neck
What,
brace.
what's been banned?
They're talking about his like the pile driver thing that they do to him.
That was a bullshit move.
I know,
It's,
it's
a
a pile
tombstone and the guy flips off the top and
it's a
fucking.
pile driver.
It's terrible.
But he's wearing a neck
It's
brace
the,
to
it's
sell
the
it.
dumbest fucking tag team finishing move I have
look
ever
at this.
seen in
Oh,
my
it's,
life.
it's Bubba Ray. Holy shit.
Fucking horrendous.
Love that they're using more Bubba Ray on TV. All right, so I'm just trying to skip forward because he's talking
Did-
bullshit.
Did Shad tell you, like, you got to stay out of the ring? Like, is he concerned?
All right.
Just like tomorrow night.
Hey,
He's
look
hamming
what
it up.
On TNT every
It's on
week.
both then.
He watches every show, and he never.
God,
many,
shut
many,
up.
many
That's what we were
years,
asking last time when we
are
saw
like the
Bubba.
Pepsi of
Oh,
pro
here we go. All right, hold on.
wrestling, AEW.
So here we go. So from the dungeon mention this too. What he says here.
In many, many, many years, we are like the Pepsi of pro wrestling.
Yeah.
And we're up against a really evil juggernaut. WWE is our competitor. That's who we're facing. AEW, like the Pepsi of pro wrestling. WWE's like the Harvey Weinstein of pro wrestling. And I'm really proud of what we do down here.
Stop it there.
And,
First of all,
The hosts are
number
like-
one, you're not their competitor.
You're not.
You're not even.
Pepsi,
You're not
Pepsi.
even sniveling of what they are. You're fucking
RC
RC Cola.
Thank-
Okay, you're not fucking Pepsi. And in order to get to Pepsi, you're gonna have to go on Monday night, have some fucking balls, and talk about a competitor. And if you're gonna talk that kind of shit, show it. Go on Friday nights against SmackDown. Go on fucking Mondays against Raw, and show them that you're a competitor. Right now, you're just getting the drizzling shits that's left over from Vince McMahon's lackeys that he didn't want to fucking rehire because they're either old,
Or don't wanna work.
injured, or fucking over fucking paid. Number two. You're not a competitor until you fucking go head to head with somebody.
The only way that they're competing is that they're grabbing talent. They're offering, you know, superstars who their contracts
Well,
are
that's what
starting
you
to
need to do when you start a
expire.
promotion. You have to grab talent.
Right, they're grabbing talent, but then they're not able to cap. Once they have them, what they're doing with them is you know, subpar. It's
They
nothing.
had-
Look at
they
Sasha
had-
Banks.
they
Look
had
at
heat.
fucking
They
old
had-
Edge. You know,
They had momentum when CM Punk went over.
CM Punk was
They
one of the
had-
few
they
people
had
that they
momentum.
grabbed where it
They really
actually it led to a temporary increase in the ratings. Eventually, it petered out a little bit, but CM Punk actually did make a difference in AEW. And that's me saying it. I'm not like the hugest CM Punk fan.
Huge just is not a word.
Well, there you go. There's a you know, there's a lot of that on this
Big
show, but
wordsmiths down here.
yeah, yeah, no, I just
Grammar police, dude.
what's that?
The grammar police.
Grammar Police. Yeah, I think first of all, when you call yourself like the Pepsi, that's one thing. But when you're gonna say that WWE is an evil juggernaut, so you're saying that they're evil, and when you say that they're Harvey Weinstein, I'm a WWE fan.
He's
Hold
insinuating.
on. I just want to make this point. I'm a WWE fan. We all are. And when you're saying that these guys are Harvey Weinstein because they're your competition, you're pretty much saying, like, I'm complicit in some Harvey Weinstein type shit because I'm a fan of this. And I don't appreciate that. Now you're insulting the fandom.
He went really too far.
And, you know, it's like
On
his
NFL
problem
Network,
is on the
it
NFL
doesn't
Network,
belong there.
they have
It's
a
not what they
relationship with
have in their-
WWE. I mean, WWE gives them a fucking
You're lucky
WWE
your daddy
NFL crossover
owns an
belt.
NFL fucking team, and your daddy pays for your wrestling fucking hobby, and your daddy pays for you to go on NFL Network and spew dumb shit. And obviously, it's just not the fucking place. You want to say that on Twitter? You want to have, you know,
Well, even when he
create
says
the-
it on Twitter, it's fucking ridiculous.
Right, but even where it just shows his lack of business acumen.
Here's his
it
problem.
shows his inability to function and to actually create a competitive
And
product.
he doesn't see that. He sees what he's doing. He said he read this book about being a challenger brand. And when you're a challenger brand, you pretty much have to talk shit to get noticed. And apparently this
Fine.
is some kind of business
I
logic.
don't remember Eric Bischoff ever calling WWE evil. First of all, if WWE is so evil, then why did you hire all of their talent?
Yeah. Yeah.
If WWE is so evil, why are you a wrestling fan? You're telling me you were a wrestling fan before WWE? You watched WCW only? No, Tony Khan. You were a wrestling fan because of the WWF.
Right. And
True.
it's just, you know, it's to me, he's insulting the fans. He's following bad advice. He read some book that told him that you got to be a challenger brand and a jerk off pretty much. And all anyone does when they read or they hear this shit is that,
Just when I
that,
thought he
that
couldn't get
gasp
any
of
dumber,
disgust.
he goes out and does something like that.
And their ratings are just going down like they are. And, you know,
they had
it's
the
a
lowest
shame.
rated Dynamite in the show's history this past
You know,
week.
it was like, and that's the week after showing the CM Punk footage, which was a temporary raise in their ratings. But then I said, what's going to happen in the next week? Less people are going to watch because they're so turned off by the behavior. You know,
Bad heat. It's sad.
it's
just to show you how, like, my girlfriend's starting to watch wrestling now. Like, and AEW's next pay-per-view, Forbidden Door, is going to be on Long Island. It's in the HSB Center. I'm not going to give them any money. I will not give them a dime of my money until they fucking admit that they're fucking shit up.
which they're not
But
going to do.
I think Tony Khan is trying to go with this angle now, where he's trying to be either a hated heel a la Vince McMahon, or he's trying to draw sympathy from people who are just like, you know, pro AEW and anti WWE, which isn't very many.
It's pure desperation.
It
He
doesn't
said
matter.
after the CM Punk footage, which everybody thought was the backstage fight footage, everybody thought was just like pathetic. He said, well, we had an increase in ratings.
LA Knight drafted to SmackDown. He's still on SmackDown.
Everyone's just keeping their picks this
What is-
year.
what is the point of this draft?
You just got to hope that there's one big thing that you're like, oh, cool.
So just real quick, while I was gone, I figured I'd grab them. So this is the size comparison between the Andre the Giant figure, which is a bigger figure than the regular line compared to the full size Krang figure with the waist piece. And if you want to compare it to the normal size figures of these lines, this is the Hulk Hogan.
Ricochet, who's
So
already
you can
on
see
Raw.
there's a clear,
This
know,
is the worst
height
draft
difference
ever.
there,
This
which
is the
crazy.
worst. It's terrible.
So, Rob, we're talking about the Tony Khan thing. We
He's a
played
fucking asshole, and he puts out a shit product. Fuck him.
it.
He's
Yeah,
not getting any sympathy. It's
You watch his
bad
fucking
heat.
wrestling program, and it's botch fucking city. There's a clear difference in the level of quality when you watch a WWE product. Even in the years where they've been less than satisfactory, they're still putting on a better show than AEW no matter what. I will never, ever go out of my way to an AEW show, but I had a great time at that fucking Raw show.
right, but no, now we're complicit in
and
some
I'm not
Harvey
one of these people
Weinstein
that says,
shit,
oh, well,
apparently.
only one thing or
SmackDown
another
drafts
thing.
the Bloodline. They're already on SmackDown.
It's because they're
whole
losing
bloodline.
very clearly, and it's like PlayStation and Xbox, where it's like Xbox will do something drastic, like fucking buy Activision Blizzard to try to keep up with the competition. This is them trying to do something to save face because the biggest WrestleMania in the last several decades just happened, and people don't give a fuck about AEW anymore because of Cody's story and all of the major players that are fucking hemorrhaging out of AEW and coming back to the superior product. I think we're starting to see the end of a sinking ship. And if this guy keeps playing the fucking cards the way he is, then he's really going to eliminate. I mean, You think that somebody that's going to call their competition the Harvey Weinstein of wrestling is going to get a sponsor like Snickers or something like that, or make the serious money that it needs to be a legit contender against WWE?
If you're a contender and if you're a competitor to WWE, then why do you go on local news and broadcast on local newspapers when you're doing a show in Florida, which is basically their home base when they started, that AEW needs people in the fucking stands to fill the shows?
Well, and they're changing their sets now too, so that there's more screens in the audience to fill in the space with.
They
with screens.
basically are paying people to go sit and watch the show at this point. That is the lowest form that you could do as a promoter or as an owner of a business, is you're paying someone who doesn't watch wrestling or doesn't want anything to do with it to go sit and be a filler for the show, so it looks like you actually have people watching
It's
your shit
appropriate that
product.
they call themselves the Pepsi, because
How
they'll never be the
embarrassing.
Coke.
And that's not. We said.
They're
me and
not
Joe
Pepsi,
said they're
they're
RC,
RC
Cola.
Cola.
They're fucking Diet Dr. Pibb. They're fucking
yeah.
worse than
Look,
that.
Store bought brand. You know.
And I think we want to like it. We
I
want,
did- I
in
did
theory,
try really hard.
more
He's
options.
making
always
it
want a
really
competitor.
difficult. When you say stupid shit like this, you're making it really difficult to enjoy your... Because they do have some good talent on the show. They do have some...
There's some redeeming
Hook,
qualities
I like-
about the
I
brand.
like Hook. I like a couple of guys that are on the show.
They're paying JR. They're paying Edge. They're paying guys that people who are released. They have a place that they can go. I can appreciate that.
But I think we're seeing now that we're seeing a Vinceless WWE, I think that we're going to see a lot of people that were disheartened with the original product to maybe start coming back.
Oh,
Like, they're
even
already
Jesse
talking
Ventura
with,
said
with
that.
Jesse Ventura that he could possibly, take some kind of role. And we're going to see some of that return. I don't know if we'll ever see something as big as maybe Owen Hart in the Hall of Fame now that Vince isn't involved
Well, that's not because
anymore,
of
but-
Vince.
Well, I'm sure that it was part. Because Vince
No.
was the one that had the ultimate
Everybody-
call to make that happen, number one. He was the one that pushed
Yeah,
to
but
make it
because
happen.
Vince is going, it doesn't take
And he
away
also pushed to finish the show,
His wife-
regardless of what happened.
That's
what-
true.
Well,
That is true.
She did say that she would put him in the Hall of Fame, just not the WWE. But it could be, more centered around Vince. I have the quote up here just for the people to see. Jesse Ventura said, I will tell you this.
Now I'll tell you that I
Now
don't
that
know if you
wrestling
know
has
this.
chosen this new direction, shall we call it? Jesse Ventura is
sounds
in
like
talks
Bernie
with them.
Sanders.
It required them going in this new direction. I hope you get what I'm saying about the new direction. He's literally saying, I hope you understand that I don't like Vince. The direction the company is now going was good enough for Jesse Ventura and WWE to begin talking again. Not that I don't know what they would really do.
And that
except for some
made Jesse
A&E.
Ventura feel pretty good.
can I tell you, my dad's walking around the house talking about the Gulf of Tonkin, just because he looked up what it was, and he's like, Gulf of Tonkin, and of course I'm immediately
like
just
the-
thinking I'm doing tricep extensions, and he's like, what? And I was like, Jesse Ventura's an imitation. I was like,
Did you
you
show
got,
him the
I
video?
gotta have Rob do it for you.
Oh
I didn't
my
even show him the video because I said Rob doing it will be better. You'll be on the floor rolling.
Karrion Kross does a way better fucking.
Will Sasso does a good Jesse.
He does.
He does the
But
best.
listen,
Did you
this is
see
the
him?
difference, though.
He was doing Razor
Karrion
Ramon.
Kross
Yeah,
does a
that's
really
good.
good young Jesse Body Ventura. Will Sasso's is current,
Yes.
old
Right,
man,
right,
Yes.
and you listen to the difference, and there's a clear difference.
There's a difference.
Right.
But my Arnold is still better than his Arnold.
Although I did used to laugh about his fucking vines and shit. I remember this one where he's like driving and all you see is his hand with the cigar on the steering wheel. And it's like, yo entiendo inglés un poquito. And he's like, yo Nintendo's a gay taquido. I'm so good at Spanish.
We do have some comments. Stephen Bias was saying,
Steve, I'll beat the fuck out of
he
you.
said no. He said this is terrible. What he said, it was disrespectful. It was disrespectful for the
It's in
victims.
poor taste.
It's just true. It's in poor taste.
That's not even poor taste. Like now you're a smut.
It's no
fucking-
taste.
Now you're a smut fucking owner.
Yeah, you're
Exactly.
just doing like you're
This is
you're
smut-
It's a
desperate.
sin.
Stephen Bias said AEW will never ever be WWF WWE. They are indie. They are supposed to
Also
be different.
simultaneously made an NFL team look like shit.
They can't compete on that level ever. Joe won't admit I chastised him this today on Twitter. Tony was out of line. He said Tony was out of line
Listen,
for that.
we wouldn't be watching
Let it
the
on
current
yourself.
WWE product if AEW wasn't good 3-4 years ago because
We wouldn't
they
be watching
pushed
the WWE product if they didn't fuck up Cody and he left and came back to WWE.
True. Exactly.
Well-
But I think at least at that
One
time
of the
they were
founders
on.
of the company says, "I don't want to do this anymore."
Every time there's competition, at least it drives like the
body.
WWE to make some changes and say, hey, yeah, we're definitely open to Cody coming back. We like, what he's been doing there. They're fucking him up, but
If you
we
have
like
the
what
balls
Cody's
to
doing.
call someone Harvey Weinstein and evil, have the balls to go on Monday night or shut the fuck up.
Yeah. That's I mean, very well said. If
And
you're
you can
gonna
clip
fucking
that.
throw barbs like that, then put your money where your mouth is. But the thing is too, it's so funny when he talks because he'll say, "Well, we won the Great Wrestling World War of 2019 or whatever year it was that AEW went head to head with NXT and didn't even beat them in the number; they just beat them in the key demographic."
NXT is like it's their third brand.
Yeah. There are tons
still
of
pretty
people that
You didn't
do
draw
not
more
watch.
than SmackDown. You didn't draw more than Raw.
Right.
Your pay-per-views don't generate more than
Nobody
a Royal
cares.
Rumble,
NXT's their
WrestleMania.
training facility. It's,
It's
you know,
it's
like,
a
come on.
fucking-
And they have good people
The
down
problem
there.
is Tony doesn't have anyone to tell him, like, you need to sit your ass down, shut the fuck up.
He's got the wallet.
Like, everyone just says, well, he's a billionaire, he can do whatever. Even JR will say, oh, he's a billionaire, he can do whatever the hell he wants. You can say whatever he wants to
here's
say.
At least Ted
he
Turner
needs
was
good
smart enough
guidance.
to hire Eric Bischoff.
Here's the problem with
And Bischoff
Tony
did
Khan.
some stupid shit, too.
Tony Khan
he
is
got
not
too
a
close to the
self-made
talent.
billionaire. He is a made billionaire.
Right.
He's
He's
a
not a
silver
billion-
spoon
he's a-
fucking pussy.
Yeah.
Is what he is.
That's the
One
problem.
could
That's
argue
the other
Vince inherited
No,
from his father.
no,
It was,
I don't. I mean,
Vince McMahon's mother and father lived in a trailer park before they started promoting pro wrestling.
yeah,
They,
weren't,
they
like,
went
rich.
from rags
They
to
are
riches.
self-made.
And Vince
And
maybe was a
WrestleMania,
millionaire.
he had some help from his father,
Fine.
not to the
Vince
level
was
that
a
Tony has.
millionaire who became a billionaire.
Right.
I said billionaire. I
Yeah.
did say billionaire.
Yeah, it's
Totally
it's
different.
definitely
They can't
different.
even-
Rewind and
you
dine
can't
with
compete.
Kings and Queens.
Again,
Stepping
Tony's
out of
dad
the poke
owns
and
the
bean.
Carolina Panthers just for fun.
Jaguars.
Well, that's what
Oh, so
AEW
the
they
Jaguars-
say. It's
and
a
he's
vanity thing.
fucking
It's
them
a
up, too.
hobby.
Jaguars.
It exists because he wants a hobby to just
David
throw his
Dickhead
money
owns.
and have play wrestlers, and there are legitimate aspects. I hate tearing them down this much because I don't want to do
I
that.
don't mind it.
But I don't want to just mindlessly hate on them.
I'm not mindlessly
it's
hating on
Tony. It's his actions are the reason why that we are
Right.
fucking hating on them. If
Well,
he didn't
he's-
say this stupid shit, we wouldn't be looking at them with this critical lens. But he did, and now you're bringing the Eye or the Break Room podcast down on you, and we're gonna fucking tell you how it is.
He started off as a keyboard warrior, and now he's just fucking up now.
That's a good point.
It's not helping your brand. And whoever he has
And
to
he's-
stop believing that it is. It is not helping his brand to shit talk. Not that we know anything about fucking ratings. We got 9 people watching, but clearly their ratings are going down, and the more stupid ass stunts that they pull, they continue to go down more. So, I think we can kind of put a bow on that. We do have a comment here. Stephen Bias did say, "I'm not trying to be funny here. I honestly think Tony is on the spectrum, and Vince took wrestling from a small venue to coliseums." It's true. I mean,
It went from like a
WrestleMania.
circus show to one of the biggest fucking watch things in the entire.
They were in Madison
NFL,
Square Garden already.
NBA status.
Vince
almost.
Vince the Elder had Madison
I would
Square
say
Garden on
WrestleMania
lock.
is a solid contender for maybe not the Super Bowl, but World Series, all that stuff. It's one of those. You know?
Wrestling's
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
big, they're trying to sell it overseas to reach a new market in the same way the NFL is
Right.
and the NBA already has.
And that's another unique thing. It's like the NFL is unique to America. I mean, there's
Very.
not a whole lot of countries
Wrestling's
that's embraced
at least
football
has-
like we do. But wrestling is like Mexico, Japan. There are
Universal.
many countries that are huge into wrestling, and they do it great too. I mean, you go to Japan, you'll see some of the best matches you'll ever seen, and they enjoy the campy too. Like they'll do the gimmick matches and stuff like that.
Yeah,
but
anime
but they
kinda-
really have some. I mean, even Hulk Hogan did some of the best matches of his entire career in Japan. He actually had more than 3 moves, and atomic leg drops weren't really the
brother.
Listen, brother.
But you know what?
It's
Going
massive.
back to Hulk Hogan, I gotta say, looking at this has got to be the best Hulk Hogan figure they've ever made. Not just because it looks like a He-Man figure, but like
Joe just fucking.
it's just like
I
it's just,
disagree.
It, just
It-
looks
a
so
Hulk-
much
it
like
should be a little
him.
bigger.
He's chiseled. I
Should
think
be
his
bigger.
head is too big.
First
It's
of all, Hulk
disproportionate.
Hogan's stomach
The
never
head-
looked like that.
But his face, he looks just like
Listen,
him.
it's like an
I
old
used to
jelly
get
roll.
like. Well, I will say the
His
worst
head's too
one.
big for the
the
body.
absolute worst one was the fucking Jack Specific Ultimate version.
No, the best
Because his face looks like Captain Spaulding from fucking Devil's Rejects. He's just like,
I think the
with the
best Hulk
stupid
Hogan
face.
figure you have it. You have the Ultimate Hulk that came with Mr. T.
I don't know. It's something classic about it.
He
you
just
know,
likes it 'cause
feels
it's shaped
the,
like He-Man,
The Remco line, like it's
Hulk,
just
it's
feels
Hulk
right.
Hogan He-Man.
It's
and he
Hulk
likes
Hogan
He-Man.
He-Man.
That's why he likes it.
It's nice. But Andre really looks fantastic too.
The toys are as good as ever.
Andre
but
never had muscles like that.
the kids are
No,
not.
no, but the
Playing with
facial
toys.
sculpts, I will say, on this line, they really killed it. Like they really they captured
Oh,
the
the
look.
face mold,
Like if you
everything
look at
looks
a lot of
good.
these figures that they've made of Andre the Giant,
That's why
he just
they're
doesn't
30
fucking
he's
look like
bald.
him. I know, bald Andre.
That
Yeah,
looks like me now.
The $35.
That's
I like how he still has the sideburns. So he's still got the
Kratos.
chops.
Anybody want a peanut?
Is that a Bears jersey? Come on, son.
But yeah, I'm really enjoying the
Fuck outta
Superstars line. I
They
know it's a
always-
bitch to try to
every
get your hands
season
on
go
them,
to.
but I ended up getting
He's from
Doink the
Chicago,
Clown
from
and the two
Chicago.
Hulk Hogans that came out
Why
with the
didn't you
same
show
line.
off Doink?
I have them upstairs.
Oh, it's a sin.
Said I forgot. I
You
should've
were
had
up there
them.
shitting. You could have
I
brought him back
was. It
down.
was nice. It
Unbelievable.
felt so much better. But the Doink is all right, you know.
Are they done with
I
this
just got
draft?
it
or
to finish
The
it.
The draft
but
is going to
keep
go all
going.
night, but
30.
SmackDown's almost over. They
Well,
got
we
30
got
more
30
minutes.
left on that, and then you have the draft will continue on Raw.
you
on
get
All right, well, I mean, I think.
Oh, we got something. Here's something to talk about quick. So they revealed new tag titles. We talked about them last week, but we haven't spoken about the new ones. Look at those belts on them.
What do you mean? We didn't talk about that?
We didn't talk about
we weren't on the
the
show with us when they released
Oh,
those.
I like them.
Yeah,
those
they're great.
new SmackDown
great.
tag belts
They're
are a nice callback to the original tag.
Why is Bobby Lashley
They're
trying
like
to
an
dress like The Rock
updated
now?
throwback to the 80s and 90s tag titles.
Yeah. Oh, it's
Long.
Teddy Long.
You
Holla,
will
holla,
go
holla.
one-on-one
Here's the
with the
dance.
Undertaker.
There's the dance. Holla, holla, holla.
I'm gonna holla at you.
Just for that, you're gonna go one-on-one with the Undertaker. And there's JBL. They should have brought Eric Bischoff if they're gonna bring fucking Teddy Long.
Or
Bischoff said he'd be open to, he's like, I don't want to
He'll
move.
appear every
he's
now
like,
and then.
he's like, I like where I live. I don't want to have to move to
See,
like.
they don't need that shit. They don't need Eric Bischoff. No,
Nah.
they don't want Eric.
No, he's doing his thing. He's got his podcast, and he's always calling Tony Khan out. It's great.
It's one of the few times where I actually agree with Bischoff when he goes after AEW.
Well, and he'll say, he's trying to tell Tony not to make some of the same mistakes that he has, and he makes them like worse.
way worse.
Like the
Clearly.
biggest. You remember when Eric came out and challenged Vince to a
Yes,
match,
yes.
and it was widely considered to be one of the most pathetic things that they
Yes.
ever saw. He was on the motorcycle, and they were like,
Yes.
"This is the downfall."
Yeah.
Tony Khan has done that like 9 times now. Everything that one promo that will forever Eric Bischoff is forever criticized for the rest of time.
Well, here's the difference.
Doesn't
between,
compare.
Talking about like Monday Night Wars, like you would have Tony Schiavone like a coward on the microphone read away the results to Raw because it was taped. Like a coward would read it and tell you that Mick Foley's going to win their world.
And it
title.
worked.
backfired.
And it
And
worked.
backfired,
It worked
and
for a
everyone
while.
Switched the channel.
Oh.
But the WWE would do stuff like that too. They would do the Billionaire Ted and the Hulkster and the
Right.
Nacho Man, yeah. But then they went
Fake Razor.
they went and they just showed that they have way more balls than you do. When DX showed up on Nitro,
Yeah.
knocking
I-
on the door saying, "Hey, you want to fight? Let's go right now."
I love Kevin
If
Nash.
Bischoff had balls, he should have showed up on Raw and called out Vince McMahon.
Well, I love the other side of the story because Kevin Nash says,
Oh.
I'm on the other side of that gate going,
Yeah.
open the fucking door.
Oh,
if
yeah.
that happens right now, we're going to just
Yeah.
blow the lid off everything.
Yep.
And they were too soft or couldn't get
That would have been a
approval.
moment. They could have done it.
Because it would have been on both cameras on 2 different channels. And it would have been the ultimate. It would have been like, Avengers Endgame level wrestling moment. Definitely. But yeah, they were too soft. they
Speaking
didn't do
of
it.
Nash, he's actually going to be at the Wrestling Universe next month. Me and Rob were
Is he?
talking about that earlier. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
He's
you said-
pretty
you
funny.
said on May
His
the 4th?
podcast is pretty funny.
I don't know if it's May the 4th. That's not May the 4th. It's May something. You got to look at it.
Because May the 4th is Wrestling Con.
Wrestling 80s wrestling.
80s
Did
Wrestling Con.
SmackDown end early or something?
He can't sign the belt,
No.
though, right?
You what?
He can't sign the belt.
Oh yeah, he can.
This one?
Diesel held that belt.
Oh, I didn't know
Absolutely.
Yeah, he did.
Ooh, didn't
Actually,
know
Diesel
that.
was a holder of the
No
wing. Diesel.
disrespect, shit.
Absolutely. You have to make him sign it as Diesel and not Kevin Nash.
He got the belt before Sean
Do I
ever did,
care?
right?
You know,
did.
it's-
Much to
I'd
Sean's
almost
pissed
want
off.
Kevin
If he
Nash
wrote
over
Kevin
Diesel.
Nash, I'd be
'Cause
fine.
then
with
I'd be
it.
like, oh, it's Kevin
No,
Nash.
you could just say I want Diesel.
Kevin Diesel Nash. I want Kevin Nash is going to do it.
All right, so I mean, I think that wraps it up for wrestling. I mean, we'll see what happens with the draft. Obviously, if anything big happens, we'll comment on it because we are still watching
Did
live.
Steven apologize?
No,
take it
no.
back?
No, he won't.
Steve
Take
actually
that
had a couple
comment
of things
back.
he said.
Take that comment back, Steve.
He said, I'm not. We read that
Oh,
already.
but not done wrestling.
Shad, which is Tony Khan's father, gave Tony this company to occupy him. Well, he said, I could either give him the inheritance money when I die, or I can give it to him now and actually get to enjoy, seeing him spend the money. And that was another thing, too, that they did on AEW. After the Young Bucks attacked Tony Khan, Shad Khan was there, the father, Tony's father, and he was like, oh, what the hell, And that people considered was, an element of reality that people appreciated. And then we didn't even really comment, but Tony was wearing that fucking neck brace all day.
He's wearing it at the draft.
But he's got a big smile on his face. He's
Yeah,
like,
it's
"Look
not
at me!
hurt.
Look at me! I'm in. It's like
I'm in
pretend.
kayfabe.
It's pretend kayfabe. It's look at me! I'm dedicated.
Kaufman
I'm wearing a
did a
neck
better
brace."
job.
But he's still turning his head and he's fucking smiling from ear to ear, so he doesn't seem too unhappy about being in a fucking neck
Doesn't know how to
brace.
sell. Dusty Rhodes fucking sold his broken leg to his own kids.
Yeah.
Come on
There he
now.
is, carrying
Come on.
crosses.
Okay, I guess they're gonna attack somebody. He looks like a meth addict now.
They're doing a lot of interesting stuff with the camera.
Yes, yeah, they're doing a lot of different stuff with the camera work. I don't know.
They fired the guy. Somebody's back. Kevin something.
They didn't fire him. He retired.
Oh, he retired.
Kevin
okay.
Dunn. He
Kevin
was
Dunn.
he was with WWE forever. He was like their head of production or
I guess
whatever.
he was done.
He was. he was
Kevin Dunn was done.
Hey, you gotta switch it up.
Yeah, they're definitely giving a new style.
So Tony Khan hasn't done the right thing. When you're the wallet, give yourself the buffer, because that way your reputation doesn't directly reflect the company in every fucking way. Vince was
like
smart,
Ted Turner.
right? Vince was smart because everything was on camera, so it was just part of the kayfabe.
Well,
it was
not
all
everything.
sold as. Yeah, not to go down that fucking. He must not be fucking named. You need a buffer. If you're the money, you can't be the brand and the money. If you're not good enough.
Here
If you're not-
comes
Unless
the
you're
money.
Vince.
Unless you're
Unless
The
you're
Rock.
Vince, and you're not Vince.
You're not.
You know?
Yeah, you're just not.
I mean,
So,
in whatever way.
he's smart.
We have
Who's he picking?
Stephen Bias did say, but man, that Ospreay Danielson match was so good. I heard it was a good match.
I have no
didn't-
problem saying it's a good match. It was. Don't tell me it's the best match
Let me
you've ever seen. in your
and let
life.
me ask you this: what's the story behind the match?
There is none.
What is the
It's a dream
What is the
match.
character and the story, except for the fact that it's a good,
It's a
display
jerk
of,
off rag dream match that Tony Khan fantasizes about
There you go.
because he can put these matches together with daddy's money.
AJ Styles drafted to SmackDown, which he was already on. I'm pretty sure.
There's not been one.
Everyone's-
Not
everyone-
one.
There's
Let's get back
nobody's
to-
changing
This
brands.
is the worst draft
There's
of all
nothing
time.
happening. Even who cares? Who gives a shit either way.
I mean, I don't
Are they
know.
going to draft people like Rhea
Alpha
Ripley
Academy,
since
they're
she's out?
already on
Alpha
Raw.
Academy already on Raw, so they're
They're going to get
staying on
hammered for
Raw.
this draft. They have not drafted or switched one fucking talent over yet.
Pink and black is. Just
Why
like,
even do this?
I do like what they did with Chad Gable.
I've
that
never
they
seen
turned
this.
him
I've
heel.
never seen them do a draft where not one star switches brands. Not
Yeah.
one.
Or at least
I mean,
introduce
they had a
somebody new.
one, but it wasn't anybody
Ooh,
noteworthy.
maybe there should be a
I don't know.
surprise.
They did not
Well,
have one.
that's the joke too, is that they're making all this fanfare for no change.
Yeah.
Andrade SmackDown is already on SmackDown.
It's like the NFL drafting all the players that are already in the fucking league.
This is fucking borderline ridiculous.
Yeah.
Nuts.
Well, we'll
Not
see. Maybe
cool.
they're really trying to drag it out so that there's going to be like a big thing that you're like, oh wow, they're probably.
This is also the lull after WrestleMania. It's like the hangover.
yeah.
Everything's kind of just.
Whoever came
you
up
know,
with this needs to be fired
I don't like
immediately.
this.
Fired.
Idea.
How
You're fired.
you're fired. Foo Fighters.
This is
Um,
you know what? This is just
final
one of those
pick.
things they don't know what to do with. They introduced it years ago, and they're just continuing it because
Who?
that's what they've done.
Who is that?
Kiana James.
Kiana James. I've never
NXT
even heard of
women's.
the name.
She has the
I
deal
guess it's a
breaker.
call up.
I guess that's her.
Great.
Von Bullard.
Now we have an interview in the middle of the crowd.
I have never even normally I've heard of an NXT person's name. I've never
Look
even
at
heard
that.
of
They're
this chick's
already
name.
on those shows. It's ridiculous.
Joe's
Okay.
mad.
Well, so
What annoys you more, this or the fact that Master Chief takes his helmet off in the show?
well, hold on. We'll talk about that when we
fact
talk
that
about
that
Fallout.
Yeah, listen. The
Um,
fact that show. All right.
So Steven did have a question for you, Rob, with regards to the toys. I think he said, "What is the Holy Grail? What are you searching for now?" And not just First of all, there's probably
Everything.
12 things that
There's
Rob
nothing.
is.
There's
If you had one toy that has been elusive and you have been trying hard to get, you have not been able to find it, apart from the Indiana Jones truck.
I already got that already.
You got that. So that's the thing.
got
Rob
it.
Rob gets
Castle
everything.
Grayskull.
Anything Rob wants, he ends up getting.
Well, no, that's
Infinity-
not necessarily true. So the only
He's missing 2 He-Man figures.
well, there's
He-Man.
There's I mean, there's a bunch of He-Man figures. I won't name any of those because it's not like there's 2 kind of Holy Grail figures that I know I'll never own. One is the blank from the Dick Tracy toy line. I'll never own that. And another one is the Rule Breaker Toy Fair exclusive 1 of 100 or 1 of 10 Sergeant Slaughter figures. It was the Rule Breaker with the he has a black beret and a black tank. I think he has tan pants. Yeah, it definitely says tan pants. And it was an exclusive, and it goes online for like $6,000. I will never own
Fuck
that
a
figure.
Shawn Michaels.
$6,000. I'll never own that figure. And I'll have to live with that because that's the only
Just picturing
Sergeant
his
Slaughter
voice in
figure
your
that I don't
fucking
own,
ear.
other than like the Super Cop. They made there was like a knockoff GI Joe line in India called
Yeah, listen
Play-
in, man. He's talking to you like this in your ear.
I think it's like Play School or something like that, or not Play School, some fun school, some kind of fucking name like that. And it's a repaint of Sergeant Slaughter as Super Cop, and he has the blue and white, but it's Sergeant Slaughter's head with a blue hat, and that's not technically a Sergeant Slaughter figure, but they used the mold of his GI Joe head to make that figure.
Christ.
And I don't have that either. That's like $300 figure. I'm like,
So
it's
we'll
not
see.
really Sarge.
Maybe
So-
one day we can flash
look
back
that
to
up.
this clip if we could even find it in the
Yeah, but the
catalog.
Rule Breaker Sergeant Slaughter, unless I become like fucking
How much are you charging?
like super, that's a $6,000 figure. The Rule Breaker Sergeant Slaughter figure. Just said, yeah, it's fucked.
Sorry.
There's no way. There's no way. But that and the blank. I said the blank from the Dick Tracy, which is also like another $5,000, something like that.
Are there any toys that you have right now that are like in escrow? And by that I mean like you ordered them, but they're not going to come out for like another year or
Oh
something
yeah,
like
I
that.
got plenty of pre-orders. They have the new 5 Points Batman animated series toy line that's already sold out of pre-orders. That I've got Batman, Robin, Catwoman, and Joker. And there's a new Batmobile that's going to be coming out with that. I pre-ordered all those. I pre-ordered the 3 new Street Sharks figures.
What the fuck?
Gorilla from the Super 7.
Are you selling
which
drugs
one
on the
was it?
side? Where do you get the money
I
from?
know. Well, it's over time, so it's like I
He is the real life
recount
Peter
money.
Griffin. As you know,
It's a
just
cameo.
doesn't have to sell drugs. The rest of us would.
No, I just do them.
Damn. Damn.
But
dude.
no, it's and you know what? It's like I keep all these things typically in the box, so it's not like I couldn't flip them later. It's not like that. I even have the 6-inch Batman animated series light up fucking
I just want to
Batmobile
see
in
it
the box and
all
shit.
at once. If I all
I would love
just
to.
everything.
If I could spread
all at
everything
once.
out and just and put it out,
it would be like
you would need a whole like mansion.
You would
I
need
could
a
fill-
Dewey
I could
Decimal
fill
System
up
type
fucking
cataloging
Alita Castle
system.
with all the shit I got in my attic.
it would all be would it be all categorized? Would you do it all as a big Infinity War battle? What would you do?
Dream would be like to have like a walk-in like room, like a huge room with everything around. Like if I had like unlimited fucking money, I would have like that kind of thing, and believe it or not, I would have like my own personal gym, like in the middle.
You just work
I'd
out
love to have
with
like
all the
a
toys
gym, have the
around?
toys, like maybe a spot for like movies and shit. A section, for like training and stuff. I'd put like Dragon Ball Z and shit and all that kind of stuff on the walls. That would be like
I just saw a clip
ideal.
of
What the
a-
fuck is with
a
all
gym
these
playing
religious
this.
commercials?
What do you have a problem with?
Because what the fuck? What do I need to say? What, I don't even
talking
understand. What are you
about-
selling,
No,
Jesus?
If you're going to
Yes.
talk
You're
about,
selling Jesus.
if you're going to
selling-
talk about religion,
They've been
I'm gonna
selling
talk about
Jesus for
politics.
2,000
selling-
fucking
It's
years.
It's not
They've
the
been
same.
selling
Imagine they
Jesus for
showed a
2,000
fucking Muslim
years.
commercial on TV. People would be up in arms over it for no
Oh
fucking reason.
my
I don't need
God.
to see
You
this
were-
shit.
Were you
Welcome.
raised Catholic? What's wrong with
Welcome.
I was raised Episcopal. My
What?
mother was
To the
raised
break room.
Catholic and
What's a
didn't-
what?
The break room
Episcopal.
you? Fuck is that?
It's
Episcopalians.
It's another thing of
It's a
Christianity.
form of
It's a
Protestantism. It's a sect of. You realize that Catholicism isn't the only form of Christianity.
Are you
There was a-
circumcised?
To Catholic.
Oh,
maybe, maybe not.
That's
I'm
disgusting.
gonna go take a leak.
Good question.
Val Venus.
It's time.
Episcopalian.
Everybody, thanks for coming.
Were you baptized?
Yeah,
Get the fuck
it's
out.
Christian. It's a
God.
form of Christian.
We're getting religion on the fucking Break
Catholicism.
Room podcast.
I'm just saying,
now.
I don't
It's
get it.
great.
There's a commercial that just says Jesus. I'm like,
Who
what
gives
the-
a shit?
What do you buy? What is
That's
the
not our
product?
show. Who gives a fuck?
I'm just,
What-
I don't get
also,
it.
This
What-
is also not cable TV. This is fucking
First of all,
Hulu.
This is Hulu.
So these ads
First of
are...
all, if you're a
Like
kid today
internet.
watching TV and
It's
you
not
don't
even
go,
TV,
you
it's
don't get out, how would you know about religion?
Jesus?
Or anything?
Well,
I
if
mean,
you fucking went to
it's a popular
Slurp
guy
Ramen with
still.
me
I
and
don't know. I
Rob
think
today, that's
people
also
pretty-
why I'm on this. Is me and Rob go to Slurp today, and we had one of those, it was like
Oh,
she didn't even speak
the
English.
Vietnamese lady
She-
trying
no,
to
she
give us
was-
some kind of Bible. No, she said she was born in Vietnam.
She was born in Korea, and we don't know what she was trying to tell us, but she was trying to hand us these Korean Bibles, and we were just like, no, thank you. And she starts trying to talk to us, and apparently we're cells. I don't really know.
I don't know. I
You
was just
sit
buying
there
my
and you
fucking
thump your
spot.
Bible and it didn't get you anywhere. Talk about your songs. Talk about John 3:16. Austin 3:16 says, "I just whipped your ass."
That would have been a good
Feel
thing to
better?
say to her.
Feel better.
Say my
Oh,
favorite
if you
verse
didn't
is
have that
John
on video.
3:16.
Oh,
That would have been good to
that
say
fell
to her.
over.
I just give her Ezekiel.
I'm
from
gonna go get
fucking,
another beer for this
Ezekiel
episode.
35:13. The path of the righteous man is laid upon me.
Joe, you'll like this. Stephen Bias said, Southern Baptist, baby. My ass is still red from the switches.
Ouch. Ouch.
I think we've beaten the wrestling horse to death.
Yeah, so-
I think we should move on to Fallout. I think we should talk about Fallout.
We should talk about Fallout and why does Halo suck? That's
So-
like the thing. Every time I watch Fallout and how good it is, it makes me think, man, Halo deserved a great show.
Could have been.
Fallout's really fucking good.
I don't let myself think too much about that because the different
You're
things.
such a nice
you're
guy,
right.
Chris. It's
No,
crazy.
you're right. You're right.
Positive.
No, fuck the Halo show. Fuck the Halo show. But I don't let that stain my appreciation for Fallout. I don't say, but
it's
Halo
not-
sucked.
it's-
Fuck that. I'm not even gonna let
has
that
nothing
show
to do with
shit
fucking
stain
Fallout.
my appreciation for Fallout. Fuck the Halo
What does
show.
one have to do with
Fuck
the
the
other?
Hulk
Well, that's what I'm
Hogan.
saying.
All it does
Piece
is
of
all it
shit.
does is show you a great example of how to do an adaptation.
And who would have thought Amazon would have nailed
Well,
it?
I've been
hold on,
killing
it's,
it.
it's Jonathan Nolan. So let's get it straight. It's
Amazon's
fucking
got some good
John,
shit. The
they're
Boys,
they got
come on.
money
That's
out
true.
their fucking ass.
Invincible.
How much money I give Amazon? They better come out with some
Yeah.
good fucking shit.
That show had to have a crazy budget because the sets that they developed
the
and
whole
the
Westworld team.
props and the
Everyone that did Westworld did the show.
but like
great.
you know like that
Rwandi did the music. It's crazy.
yeah the futuristic like 1960s where it's like
Everything's
old fashioned but
nuclear-powered.
it's also it's like nuclear powered and futuristic and like the robots that they got are like so here's the thing, let's go around and we'll say, did you play Fallout or not? Fucking Halo. Did you play Fallout or not? I played Fallout. I actually really mostly only played Fallout 4,
same.
which isn't even the best one. Everyone says New Vegas is the best one. You played Fallout, right?
I played Fallout 4. It was the first one I ever played. It was fun.
You were
It
never a
was
big fan of Fallout, right, Rob?
I tried it though. I did play it. In fact, funny. I was watching Lil Joe play it earlier today, and it was starting to look a little familiar, like the the home base with the armor up on the wall and the people in the community and stuff.
I love
Sanctuary,
baseball.
I think they were calling it. I remember like vaguely playing the game. I remember being very vacant in certain places. I remember it being a challenge for me to like try to level things up and whatnot. But I did play it back in. I looked at my achievement list, and it was back in December of 2015 that I first touched that game.
It's been that long.
So it's been a very, very long time since I touched it. I thought I had started it again on the PC, but I looked on Steam, and I never owned it on Steam, and I downloaded it on Xbox Game Pass just to see if I had it. played it at all, and I didn't. So another funny thing. We'll jump ahead a little bit. Just saying, I canceled my Xbox Game Pass because of Sea of Thieves moving to PlayStation. And we'll
get
cover
there.
that in a second.
We'll talk about
but
that.
it's just funny that I had to mention. It was like Xbox Game Pass is kind of thing in the past for me, because even if I wanted to play something like Halo down the line, I don't think you need the Game Pass to play Halo.
It's interesting
You
that
just have to buy it.
right, you just buy the game
buy
outright,
the
which I
game
should have done with
instead.
Sea of Thieves fucking 3 years ago.
We'll get to see it.
But no, but no, with Fallout, Fallout was a game that, the first two were like top
Don't
down.
even ask me if I played it. It's okay.
Oh, sorry. Well, I don't even know.
Did
you
we're
play it at
bouncing
all?
around.
You
We
haven't
got-
played Fallout.
You never
1?
played the Fallout
You haven't
games?
touched it, right? It's another
I don't
Bethesda
really like
RPG.
Bethesda games.
Yeah, it's an open world RPG. It's one of those games you can get lost in.
I like RPGs. I like open RPGs. I don't like Bethesda games.
I think I got further in Fallout, funny enough, than I did in Skyrim.
I believe that. It's definitely, especially because there's a gun system, you know.
Well,
There's guns. It's,
regardless if you play it, you know that Fallout has a unique setting, a unique look and feel to it. There's, like I said, that like 1960s nuclear powered, like old fashioned Leave It to Beaver, but also futuristic with robots and nuclear powered shit and all kinds of futuristic tech. Nuka-Cola, there's like brands within it, Vault Tech, where like, it just has a very unique look and feel. And I mean, again, they must have spent so much money they made it so authentic, and like I felt like I was playing Fallout when I was watching it each episode.
right.
And they just nailed so much stuff, like with the power suit armor, how like you could just pull the fusion coil thing out and the whole thing just like turns off.
Absolutely.
Like that's like a thing in Fallout. Like you can pickpocket a guy walking in one of those. You pickpocket that fusion coil, and then they just like have to get
Shut
out of the
down.
armor because like they
Shut
fucking
down, walk away.
it's not powered. And how like sometimes you have to leave the suit behind and go somewhere, and like you kind of don't want to do that unless it's in a safe place. The paying for stuff with bottle caps,
Yep.
like that, the bottle cap currency.
I should have grabbed that. It's funny. I was digging through my drawer. I was trying to find this cable for my dad, and I came across a Nuka-Cola bottle cap that a cosplayer had given me years
Oh yeah,
ago.
you showed me that. That was cool.
And
shit.
I was like, oh man, it's just the timing was perfect. I was like, oh shit. Like, I haven't seen this thing probably in about like 10 years.
Yeah.
And there it is right after I watched the show. I will say, as somebody that wasn't a huge fan of the game, I was a big fan of the show. Big fan of Walton Goggins. I think the man can do no wrong. He kills every role that he does. And I was immediately a fan of the Ghoul from the second that he showed up with that fucking pistol blowing holes in people. I was like, I knew my dad was going to like this
Definitely
show.
parallels to the Man in Black.
Yes,
100%,
definitely.
where
He's the
like
Ed Harris
evil,
of that
but
show.
not totally
Absolutely.
evil. It's like he's obviously
war
It's a little
torn. He knows
ambiguous.
how the world
you know,
works.
yeah.
he's been around a long time, and he's seen a lot of shit.
Multiple timelines. Definitely had some Westworld vibes to it with the multiple
I think all the
timelines.
actors were fantastic. I think that there was no role that felt weak. Everybody killed it. It almost felt like this is what the new Star Wars show should have. The new Star Wars movie should have been, where like you establish the characters, they come together, and then you kind of find how their stories interweave.
Yeah.
I think they kind of did that better. This guy was this guy was a better stormtrooper than Finn was.
Oh yeah, if you were gonna compare Maximus to Finn, I mean, they developed his story so much better than they ever did for Finn in that short amount.
Like what they did for Maximus is what they should have done for Finn. Honestly,
yeah,
that's
similar story.
very similar story where doesn't know where he came from,
But
starts
also-
off as trying to join the Brotherhood because they gave him a home and like a place, and kind of defying that, and then but in this particular instance, he still had friends there that kind of rope him back in when he's about to leave and go off with the Rey character. or
One
whatever.
split. They're not that evil. The Brotherhood of Steel. They like in the games. They're like a faction you can join, and they have their very
quirks.
no, well, yeah, and they have their strong belief system. They're rigid. Yeah, exactly. The rigidity, but
military almost.
I would consider them
but
like
they
the
weren't as
paladins
evil.
of that world. They're paladins. They're lawful good kind of, but like they also
they're evil.
make
though.
the rules, and it's like they're only lawful good to their own set of
I
principles.
mean, they showed they were, just attacking villages, and they were just like they made them a lot more evil in the show.
That might be where their
Well, it's also
beginnings
the West
are, because
Coast
we don't know when this
Brotherhood,
show
it's different.
technically takes place compared to the game, right? We don't know. Is this running parallel to where you warp in the game? Does this happen before?
They happen at different timelines, and I don't think
You
they all
have to-
happen at the same time.
Well, the funny
It's
thing is,
200 years, 100 years.
in the show, the thing about the Vault people is they believe that the world ended when the nukes fell, but the reality is it kept going. So it
Sold
just
them a
depends
lie.
on when you get out of the vault and on what game you're, depending on what game you're playing. That's actually
When I hear Vault, I think of Borderlands.
it's clear. It's kind of
It's not
close.
terribly different. It's still a post-apocalyptic
Waste
world.
world.
Well, a vault was almost like a base where treasure
Society.
was.
They're all
Hidden
rip-offs of
away,
Mad
whereas-
Max, which is probably
The
where they
vaults-
put like a whole society of like more or less suburban people.
They're
who
underground
survived-
cities.
who survived the whole nuclear holocaust, and they believe
Like
that
the rat people in Demolition
the
Man.
world ended and that they're gonna Dennis Leary, that they're gonna come back and repopulate the earth. At
the lie
the
that they sold
repopulation
was
day.
that they said that the Earth was too radiated to live on,
But it-
and it's after several hundred years it would be habitable. So that they would say, "Oh well, not our generation, but our kids' generation may get to live on the surface."
But the
And
reality
the
was-
reality is that there's all these people that got fucked up and survived, and it's like fucking
the
no
major
man's
cities were
land.
taken out, but not every part of the earth was totally destroyed. So civilization just kind of kept going in its fucked up own way.
I mean, it did get wiped to a degree. There was pockets of civilization that kept going, but I mean, it was totally like if you look at Boston and Fallout 4, it's fucking wrecked. And
No, I'm saying all major cities are gone, but not. It's not a.
But if you live in the middle of
and
the
total
mountains and
wipeout.
God knows where, and like
right, you're
not anywhere near any one of those cities.
He was actually right when he said we should just get a house 2 miles north of the city and we can survive
Hey.
together. That would have been fine.
Right.
The show obviously unravels. The funny thing about that character with the Brotherhood is, it's funny when you're playing a Fallout game, your good intentions will fucking backfire so hard sometimes because you'll make decisions to try to do what you think is the right thing, and then it turns out whatever the person you're dealing with is, an evil piece of shit. The computer's an AI that's doing something evil.
It's Michael Rappaport. That's somebody mentioned that
It's a
from the
piece of
dungeon.
shit.
Said that was a great cameo where he's like, he's like this knight in the armor and he's got this deep voice, and then he just takes it off and he's just like, it's fucking Michael Rappaport. Like, what the fuck?
Oh yeah,
he's just
Between him and the
I
other
was
guy at the end,
hysterical.
great.
Fred
cameo.
Armistead.
Oh
That
yeah,
was
yeah.
another
He
good
was
one.
the radio host. Well, that's the other thing about Fallout and that unique feel that it has. They always play like the old 1960s.
To set the world on fire.
All that type of
Fallout's
music.
really themed as if the world ended
In the
Cuban-
1960s.
in the Cuban Missile Crisis. Yeah.
Yeah. Great show. I will say it conclusively right here in clear terms. It is the best video game to cinema or at home cinema, whatever you want to call it. Best
Live
video
action.
game to live action, even fucking cartoon, anything that adaptation that I've ever seen. Find me a better one.
With also not with it stands on its own because the story is interesting. What happens, the point of view you're seeing, or the multiple points of view that you're seeing, you're bought into the storyline without needing to know the game, because the game is an RPG. It's a choose your own destiny. It's not like the show is a reflection of what you do in the game directly, like The Last of Us. It's more. It's a very interesting set and setting, and it's a very like mysterious. How the hell did this happen?
You liked it better than the Last of Us show?
Yes. The Last of Us show was good, but it was also, if we're talking adaptation from a video game to film,
Yeah.
they made they made different choices. The
Creative license.
fungus, which is
And-
okay, and I think it in some ways made it better. The way that they changed the fungus from spores to the fucking, what do you call that type of mushroom?
Lion's mane or something?
No.
Oh wait, the psilocybe.
Well, the other thing too about when
it'll
they
come to me.
when they
Fuck
do
do
like
they
an
call it?
adaptation, when it's corny, when let's say
Cordyceps.
Cordyceps.
everything everything that they put in the show, it feels like it belongs. Versus some shows will be like, this is an object from the video game. Let's look and highlight it in a way that's so obvious that you know you're playing to the audience, whereas in Fallout, it's just like they pick it up, use it, put it down, and if you know and you play the game, you're like, oh, that's exactly how it looks in the game. Cool. But they don't focus on it. They don't oversell it. They're not trying to be like, wow, look, see, we put everything from the game in the show,
This goes
so you
back
should
to,
like it.
Conversations that we had a while ago about how bad like movie adaptations are that come from a source of a video game.
Yeah.
This is what happens when they
Traditionally.
go back to the source fucking material.
Yes.
It's like what I was yelling about.
Yes,
Yeah.
I think that started.
Congratulations, you did the right fucking thing for once. Hey.
I think the reason people went off initially is like the first Michael Bay Transformers movie was not true to the Generation 1 Transformers. And then it was just like G.I. Joe was not the same. And
Oh, it was terrible.
Ninja Turtles came out, and that wasn't anything of what we like. They looked like little dinosaurs.
Yeah,
Like,
well, it's Michael Bay.
it was
so-
terrible. And then you started to see some of the shows come out, and I think Last of Us started to kind of give you some hope that maybe they can actually give you a video game and put it on a show and make it
Right.
not
If it's
ruin
a
the
TV
video
show
game
versus
for
a
you.
movie.
Resident Evil still hasn't nailed it yet. Resident Evil, the movies,
Never
the
nailed
show,
it.
They still
Those
have
movies
The
were
La- The
awful.
Last of
with
Us
Mila
is a great
Jovovich.
show.
They were
Terrible.
awful.
But
terrible.
Fallout is a faithful adaptation.
And it does make
it's
me wanna
canon.
maybe kinda
So
watch it,
everything
but-
it's adding to the lore.
And
of
it's a
the
new
games.
story. It's not the same. It's not like they told the like Last of Us. They're retelling the same story that you already
Yes.
played in the games with the same exact characters. Whereas in
So there are no characters in this show that are from the game.
they were their own things. You know, there's like they have the ghouls, which are like the radiated
botched
people that are somewhat invulnerable to a degree, but they become almost zombie-like, and that's the main. Dude, you would love it because you love the Shield, and that's why you'll love this show. Walton Goggins, his character is so good, and I'm just so glad to see him in something that's like mainstream.
My dad
after-
actually binged the entire show.
yeah. Well, it
He ended
has
up watching the whole
Fallout.
thing.
Also has sometimes like an Old West type of feel to it as
we,
well.
We might give it a shot. We have to finish Shogun first.
Shogun's
Maybe
fantastic.
That's on the
We'll
list.
get on that, but yeah, no Fallout, and it's true. It makes you want to go back to the game. It's like, even though I wasn't as big a fan, it's like now that I have like a deeper appreciation and more understanding of the overarching story, I have a little bit more interest to play it as opposed to when I first played it, because it was like just jumping into a story that I really didn't know what was going on, and it kind of unfolded in front of me, and it takes a lot of exploration to find out what's this and what's that, and
Yeah.
reading computer monitors and like trying to get the story out of bits and pieces. I struggled a lot with that in the game, whereas the show is well paced. I didn't feel like any of the sequences in the show were drawn out too long. They had a great star-studded cast.
It had a great pace. Had a great pace.
Fantastic
It didn't
pace.
ever
Didn't
drag
feel
or go too
rushed
quick.
either, and even homages like where he says that one of the golden rules is that like you get,
Thou shalt get distracted by bullshit. Or whatever.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly,
Which is
It's
absolutely true. You always get stuck doing the side quests.
That's
instead of-
90% of that game is like, oh, there's a main quest, but here's like fucking 12 other things on the way there. And
Yeah. Another thing they nailed too that made it feel very authentic is the NPCs, if you will, the random civilians that they encounter and how they're just like these fucking whacked out like
the guy on the fucking farm that's trying
Yeah.
to like marry her and like shit.
yeah
that shit
he was like
funny.
trying to get water out of a water filter, but he was just putting sand into it. She's like, well, you got to put water into it, and he was just like that's how the NPCs are. Like they're like cracked out, they're fucking like the one guy, I forget his name, the guy that was turning into the ghoul. And he's just
Oh,
sitting there,
yeah.
and he's like, "My name is," I forget what his name was. My name is Bob. My name is Bob. My name is Bob.
Oh yeah. Oh, Barbara, the fucking that one that was in the
Martha.
Martha.
My name is Martha. Martha.
Martha,
My name is
yeah.
Martha. That's like the last thoughts, I guess, that go through their mind as they're turning. But and he's like, "Hey, you remember when food used to taste good?" And he's like, "Yeah." And he shoots him.
Boom.
The NPCs.
Talking about pie or some shit.
Yeah. Oh, apple pie. My mom used to. It's like a zombie with his nose rotted off. Like, and then even when she goes to the store and it's like the two old ladies and she's like, "Barb, get out of here, Barb." That shit had me rolling. It was funny when it needed to be funny, but it wasn't too you know,
Wasn't
hokey.
comedic. Yeah, it wasn't.
Yeah, you know, it was funny when it needed to be, but they didn't go over the line. Stephen Bias said, my biggest issue with video game adaptation. The biggest issue with video game adaptations in Hollywood is they are not gamers. They don't respect the source material, and that's true. And they
Well,
always
hold
want to
on.
make their mark.
It's true, but Jonathan Nolan said that when they played Fallout, it helped them make Westworld because Westworld, in Season 1 especially, needed to play out like an open-world RPG in a way. They needed to understand NPCs. They needed to... So Jonathan Nolan was actually playing that with Lisa Joy, you know, him and her
Red Dead.
were playing that to get a feel for video games. So I think it's actually what led to the show becoming a thing. Also, a good sign of the best kind of adaptation, you want to go play the game. I didn't necessarily want to play The Last of Us after I watched the show. It wasn't something I was like, oh, let me go play it
Did
again.
it for me.
It did?
It was the
that's good.
timing,
remember you-
though. I will say this because they did the
And
remaster.
It's not to
of
slam
the
The Last of Us. I'm just saying for myself. I
I
played
never
it.
played the game, and I
Gotcha.
had a PlayStation at the time because I got it for God of War, and I bought The Last of Us remastered or remake or whatever, and I loved it.
Perfect. Well,
So
then that,
it-
it did what it
it
needed
did
to
what it
do.
needed to do.
Halo fucking doesn't do it. That's what the problem.
Halo is the AEW drizzling shits of the fucking.
I hate him so
I
much.
thi-
for
I think
doing
it all
I
comes
hate him.
down to the
I wanna
timing,
love
though.
it.
It's so bad because it's been so long since Halo's been good.
Yeah.
Halo has not been good in the hands of 343. It just hasn't.
No, it hasn't had the right leadership. They don't. I don't know. They don't understand what makes the lore good. Never mind the game good. The lore of the game. Why
I did
do you
read
want to
that
play?
the ending of the new season of Halo starts at the
Beginning of
Halo 1
right.
Combat Evolved. So I might force myself to watch it at some point. I only watched the first episode of season 2, and I had to turn it off. I just couldn't stand. I don't like the actor. I don't like seeing his stupid fucking face.
It's not my Chief.
It's not Chief.
It's not what I envision when I see Chief. I don't want to see the guy who fucking sells patio furniture.
I think
see-
it,
I
I think
wanna
it was
see
well
Jocko.
planned by them though that they put out this PS5 version of Fallout 4 in conjunction with the release of the show. I
Sold
think
me
that
on it.
An Xbox.
Yeah.
really
Makes-
really sold it. Like it's like, oh well, not only did we get the show, we got like a facelift to a very beloved video game
Smart
at the same
business.
time, and it's like, all right, well, it's reinforcing it, and
Because
That's why
just think
everybody's on
of
that hype
how
train.
many more people will play because it has the updated graphics. Because it's more in line with what you'd
how do you make
expect with
people
today.
forget about Sea of Thieves on PlayStation 5?
Oh, the fucking little Joe is in
Can't
here
wait.
too, you bastard.
Can't wait. I'm excited.
You want to talk? I mean, I think we got our Fallout itch out. I mean, it's tough because we just binged it and then it's over. It's not like we have like a week by week recap, but
Cody Rhodes also just won that match, by the way.
That was a good
of
match.
course.
Really
yeah.
good match.
He fucked up at the end though. They tried to jump off the ropes at each other, and they completely
No, that
missed.
was the spot. They meant to do that.
to miss.
They meant it like they both went for the same thing and they both missed. That was the idea of that.
Oh, I thought it was supposed to be like that spot he did with what's his face,
The Cody Cutter.
Logan Paul.
He was going for the Cody
But they-
cutter, and then he was going for whatever he does, rebound off the ropes, and they both missed. Was
the
the
timing was.
Help.
Yeah.
Well, so Rob made a point earlier that's saying basically like, oh, Xbox Game Pass is dead to him, or it's the past, or which, you know, because Sea of Thieves has come to PlayStation, which you know, not everybody saw coming for a long time. What does it mean for Xbox, and you know, how are you going to subscribe to Game Pass again, or what was bringing you to Game Pass? Was it Sea of Thieves?
Honestly, it was Sea of Thieves because I don't play Halo. I don't play any of the other titles. I was looking at the game list of things that I had downloaded, and I'm like, the Guardians of the Galaxy game was there. I beat that on PlayStation. There was Killer Instinct. Don't give a shit.
It's crazy that they're in this position.
It's like the titles that I can get on there. I don't care because I'm already going to be playing it on my PlayStation. And now that I was able to successfully link my Xbox and PlayStation accounts through Sea of Thieves, all my cosmetics carry over.
Yes.
It's a seamless transition.
Seamless.
Over
It
to the
was
system.
perfect.
I have never seen such compatibility since something like Fortnite, where you
Minecraft,
just
too.
log into like the Epic account.
Mm.
But this is unique because it's actually linking PlayStation and Microsoft. It was really weird because when you link them together, you get your Xbox name
Yeah.
and your PlayStation name together, and it's like, you know, it's weird to see, you know, like Bazooka Bob and Robin
Sin to
Thor
Infinitude.
together, and I'm like, oh shit, this is cool. This is wild.
Yeah. That's what Minecraft did. It's the same thing. You sign into your Microsoft account, and
I
everything comes
struggled
over.
with that though, because for some reason it wouldn't let me log into my Microsoft account on PlayStation for Minecraft, and it fucked everything up because I had all this stuff on there and it wouldn't let me log in. It said it's attached to another account. I'm like, I don't have another account.
Yeah.
So I don't know
This is
what
the
the
only
fuck
one.
you're talking about. Like, what? And there's no way to fix it. You can't unlink it ever.
They say that they're like it's permanent. We should frame this a little bit more for anybody that doesn't know about Sea of Thieves. It is a great. There's probably a lot of people that have no idea. You know,
Well,
it came
let's
out
face
10
it, if
years
you don't
ago.
have a PC or an Xbox, you wouldn't know what Sea of Thieves is.
Right, because it was so it's a video game that was exclusive to Xbox and Windows for like 10 years.
Well,
I think
it's
it came out.
it's a rare game.
Yeah,
rare,
it's rare.
put it out.
Owned by
Banjo Kazooie,
So
GoldenEye,
Banjo-Kazooie, GoldenEye,
Perfect
Donkey
Dark.
Kong 64, Battletoads Double Dragon was even a rare game.
Yeah, Rare was acquired by Microsoft a while back, so they've been just exclusive on Xbox. It came out like 10 years ago. It's a pirate game, open waters. You know, sailing the seven seas, getting loot, fighting other players with pirate ships.
Heavy PvP and PvE. You can see your neighbors, and you can either fight or not fight. It's totally up to the players.
Make alliances.
You can make alliances and form fleets and shit. You can
My friend.
you can raid
my friend,
forts.
what
You
do
can
you
raid. You can. And what I would say is the vault missions are very fulfilling because they'll set you on a quest to put together the pieces of the map. Then you get the vault key, and then the vault key tells you which vault to go to. And then it's a team effort to open up this vault, get all this shit out, load it onto your ship, and then sail it out to the outpost.
outpost
And
to
it's
sell it.
and there's no like mini map system or something like that makes it like super easy. So you actually have to go onto your ship and look at the map to see what island or
gotta
use the
find
clues
it.
and that kind of
The
stuff. So it's not like a hand-holdy kind of game. It definitely requires a lot of teamwork, especially with the ship, because letting up and down the sails and angling them and navigation and all that stuff. There's
The mechanics of the
megalodons
game
and
are
there's
raw.
fucking krakens and the ghost ships and the forts.
It's all
have
kind of
great
enemies that
music
you can
when you're fighting.
encounter on the go, and there's a sense of pressure and fear and concern because you have all this loot on your boat. You just spent all this time fucking grabbing all the loot, and another player can just attack you.
But if
or
you're
a kraken.
successful, you can end up making like 100,000 gold a
Yeah, we
night.
made a good amount of money last night.
Because we went
the
nuts.
mechanics of the game are the draw because you could point out a couple other pirate games, whatever Assassin's Creed and now the latest one. But I think the mechanics
Black
of
Flag.
the manual mechanics, you're talking about having to raise the sail, drop the sail, the different size
Follow
ships,
the wind.
yeah, having to use 3 people in concert to actually maneuver the larger ship.
And I
or
like that they have
have
the
a battle.
safer seas as an
It's-
option now. So if you want a closed session with just your friends to do the PvE stuff and not have to worry about other players, there is that option. Now, I don't know if there's more PvE battling like Krakens and
You make less
Megalodons
gold.
if you're in the safer seas.
You make less
though.
gold if you're in a safe session.
And it's also the style. It always has its moments of like beauty, and it's also like a Pixar style cartoon.
Yeah, it's cartoony,
Everything's
but it looks
very-
great too. It's
Yeah, it's very. I don't know. It's a seamless game
it
because
plays
once
very
you're in,
well.
you're in that level, and there's very little breakage. You know what I mean? From whether you're looting or loading into a vault or bringing it back, you're never
There's
actually
no
brought
unfair
out of the game.
advantages in the game either. It's not everything that you get is purely cosmetic. You're not getting better rifles or better pistols or more powerful cannons and shit. Everything that you get, you have to get in game. There's nothing that powers you up or makes you more
So what's the point of
Invincible.
going for loot?
to buy more cosmetics and
Make your
to
ship look cooler. Make your
raise
guy
It's
look
more
cooler.
reputation
It's
with
more
the
the journey.
factions.
That game to me is the journey.
Yep.
The fun and the adventure is in the random attacks from PvP players when you're in
It's
the
a
middle of
sandbox
looting.
type of I
Yeah,
get it.
to me, that's the draw of what the game is. It's that excitement and that edge that anything can happen and nothing's overly scripted. The things that happen are very organic and natural. So when you're in a chase, let's say you just looted something, your boat's
I played
loaded.
it with you guys. It's just
Right.
not my cup
a
of
very
tea.
large map. The collaborations are on point with like.
The water is the best selling point after they did
Oh,
the graphics over.
My
and-
friend got seasick
looks
trying to play the game. It was
Work,
hilarious.
work.
When you get into a crazy like hour and a half battle with another player where like you have all this loot and they're trying to attack you and it's like motherfuckers, and then we played a game once where we had all this loot, these guys were attacking us, we were running, and Rob jumps off the boat and hides the fucking key to the vault that we were going to on an island, and then we get away from the guys, and then we go back to this island like fucking 25 minutes later. We get the key back, and now we're going to the vault, and then these motherfuckers attack us again. So, like another group of people attacks us, so I jump off the back of the boat, I swim to an island while they're getting chased, fucking bury the thing again. We end up like just turning around, I think, and fighting the guys, and then we end up. It's just like it turned into like a 3-hour journey just to get to this vault, and like it made it fun, you know. And the other thing too, I'll say about the money, it's not just cosmetics. You could also, you get a boat for free, but it's like a community boat type of thing where there's certain benefits to owning your boat. So as far as why you want to get gold, they have 3 different types of boats. They have a little boat for 1 or 2 players. They have
a sloop, a brig, and a galleon. Those are the 3 sizes.
Exactly. So it's 1 to 2 players, 2 to 3, or 4 players. And, you know, the bigger the boat, you have more sails, and it requires more players to help maintain it.
More cannons.
But when
it's
you buy
slower.
your own boat, which is expensive, you can name it, which is pretty cool because you can give it a funny name. My boat's name, I have 4 boats. So I have the Malignant Runt is the small boat. I know you'd like that one, the Malignant Runt. What was Paulie's mom's name, friend's name again? Nucci's friend. Anyway, the Malignant. You know what?
Yeah.
We have the pointing finger, the helpful stranger, and
I have Mjolnir's
leave us
Might.
alone. Is the other one? Just leave us alone.
That's funny.
Mjolnir is yours.
Mjolnir's Might.
So I mean, and that's one thing. You name it, but also when you're on the boat, you have access to
I also have the Thousand Sunny. That's I think the Mjolnir's Might is
One
a
Piece
sloop and the Thousand Sunny.
when you have your own boat, you have access to a guy called what was his
mine
name?
The Stugatz 3.
You could do that. You could name it. We'll get you the Stugatz, dude. We'll fucking
Didn't
play it.
somebody name their GTA boat the Stugatz?
Didn't you do that or Joe?
No, I think it might be Joe.
Mine was the Sir Alistair. But not only that, you also get access to a vendor that you can normally when you use the community boat, there's different vendors for different stuff. So you have skulls, treasure, and one other thing. And you have to go to 3 different vendors to sell all that shit. Whereas when you have your own boat, you can go to this one guy and
He's
just
an
offload
emissary. He
everything
sold it
to
to-
him.
he
The
sold it to
emissary,
whoever you
that's
need.
it. So there's benefits to owning your own boat. That's another reason why you want to try to save up some coin.
This is all crossplay now too, right?
Yep,
Yes.
it's cross-play with everything, and that's really the
So,
significance of why we're talking about it so much. Is this game was locked on an Xbox or a PC for 10 years almost, if not that much, and now it's finally on Sony, and more people can play it, and that is a good sign, I think.
Rob was the first to play it. I feel like I sold everybody to play it again because I showed
Sold me.
you, because I was literally in a battle by myself and I had to run away from somebody while I had treasure, anchor on these rocks while they fucking drove by. They didn't know where I was, and Chris was just watching like, wait, they don't know where you are? You can do this? It's all PvP? And I knew he was hooked.
Well, it had like a Minecraft aspect too, where like you have to kill an animal to get some meat and cook it, but it's not like too much. It's not hard to do that. It's not like you have to work hard to survive.
You don't
You
have
got
to
a basic
drink and
healing
eat
system.
and to keep yourself sustained.
That
You do those things to
survival
get your health.
aspect where you have to learn how to play to know how to play.
All this is just a sign of, Xbox has now become a game publisher and not just an exclusive platform. But they also need to bring Halo to PS5 because the problem that they face right now is Fortnite's on every platform, Call of Duty's on every platform, every first-person shooter's on every platform except Halo. At this point, if you
So
at least bring...
by that standard, you're saying God of War should be on Xbox.
No, but I'm
Right.
saying Halo multiplayer only. I don't even care about Infinite or the story. You need to put Halo multiplayer as its own thing to make sure it stays competitive because you would draw another audience. Because Halo
I could
multiplayer will
accept that.
always be good because of the mechanics of Halo.
Campaign is only on Xbox, but
It's fine.
multiplayer is cross-platform.
Perfectly fine by me. I'll play the campaign on the PC when I want, but to
I think
keep me
it would
playing,
be a little bit too confusing.
what's confusing?
People are dumb. You have to
I go on Halo multiplayer.
You have to take into the account that people are stupid.
That's good.
It's like, oh, I want to play Halo, but I'm not going to go online and let me play the story. Oh, I can't because I have a PlayStation version.
This guy never touched the Halo story once. He never
touched Zelda. He hasn't touched Lord of the Rings.
No, I'm just saying, like,
Doesn't
there's a
watch
lot
Big
of people.
Lebowski.
But
He
there's
hasn't
a
fucking
lot of
watched Donnie
people out
Brasco.
there.
You can't use him as an example.
He knows better than I do.
This prick
I don't
watches
even know
three
if-
things. He does nothing.
I don't know.
Watch Fallout.
I'm just saying, he's been playing Halo since Halo 3, but he's never
I
touched
played the
campaign.
Reach story.
If the
played the
multiplayer
Reach
was its
campaign.
own thing, who cares? That's fine. I would
Give me
fucking
a
pay
Reach.
$20 to have it on my PS5 if I could just jump on Halo. Oh, great. I would play it more, tell you that much.
I don't want to play Halo on that shitty controller.
That's bullshit.
It's a superior.
It's the
Actually,
best
it's-
controller ever.
It probably brings a level of depth to Sea of Thieves that's excellent because of the. You probably don't even notice it right off the bat, but if you thought about it,
I didn't really use the adaptive
It
triggers.
was
too
actually
much,
different for me because I was a keyboard and mouse player for Sea of Thieves, so it was
hands.
definitely took a little bit of getting used to because I just know the keys because I played it since I don't know 2020 is when I first started playing that shit, and that was with Nux and our friend Rebecca who runs the Little Dragon Bakery that makes the Peter tarts that you can buy. And we used to have a lot of fun with that game, and it was like one of those things that came and went. We were playing. We would fire rapid firing through games at that time. We'd play it for like a week or two, and then, but Sea of Thieves is one of those ones that kept popping up, and then Vin ended up scoping the game out. I don't know if you watched one of our streams or something like that and kind of got interested in it.
I knew
And,
about it because I knew it was a pirate game exclusive to Xbox.
I'm
from
sure
Rare.
I hyped it up
They
too.
were-
I'm sure I was talking about it because it was.
You were the only
fantastic.
person I knew who played and were like, yeah, definitely play it. And I was like, okay, once I build this PC, first game.
Yeah, and it's one of those games that you can just come back to, and it's a
played
lot of fun. And then you could just disappear for months to a year, and then come back, and it's still fun.
When we were working from home, there was that whole, whatever, year, 2 years. Sea of Thieves would be the game I would have running on my PC while I was actually working from home because I'd be just sailing the seas and I'd actually be on calls running away. I'd be like, oh, let me like change
Yeah.
direction. I'd be like, yeah, oh, yeah, we're going to order this. Yeah.
Right.
All the time because I had to kill time. There was no way I could sit on the phone in my fucking basement office for 9 hours a day answering phone calls.
Nothing
during
wrong with
COVID.
multitasking.
No, Sea of Thieves kept me. It made it feel like I was outside a little bit. You know, you're watching the sunset. You're like, this is nice.
It's a game
I
you
like
can get
this.
lost
Nice.
in. Even when you're playing alone, it's like, you
Yes.
feel like you're
Alone's
out.
the
just-
best.
It's nice.
'Cause
It's
that's
it's-
when it's like I think
Stakes
there's
are
a
highest.
heightened sense of it where you're like, I'm completely alone. It's nighttime. You're by like a fire, and you're like looking out, seeing if there's any boats.
Right.
You got the eyeglass. You're looking out there. Love it. It's a fucking great game.
It's good to see. It's a good sign. Very happy to see it on there. Hopefully, we see this isn't the first, and maybe they open the floodgates and you have Starfield on PlayStation. or you
publishing
I want to
have-
see Donkey
They
Kong
have to.
64
They have to sell
get
more units.
re-released on
It's a
Nintendo.
Nintendo game, dude.
It's a Nintendo.
I'm saying if Rare is up for grabs as far as
Talk about
being open for other
They're only
platforms,
doing
I'm
that
telling
is
you.
because it's an online game.
And it's
Donkey Kong is
established.
not an online game.
No, but there's a lot of money to be made from both parties.
It points out what does the question is, what does Xbox do going forward? What does it look like as a platform? It'll continue to
Like
exist, but the sales are
Patrick Bateman.
disappointing. So they're trying to figure out. They've acquired all these studios. What the fuck do they do with all
Not,
these
you
games?
Stupid bastard! I love that fucking scene.
What do they do with all these games? They have so many games. The stable of games they own, for those games to be limited to a platform that, even though they own all these games, isn't moving units, that's a problem. So they're definitely going to have to figure out which of these games belong on every platform. Something like Elder Scrolls has to go on every platform. It's just a huge
People are going to
game.
be pissed if
It-
they
it's
don't
a-
have
it-
that on every platform.
And
If Elder
Starfield-
Scrolls, the next one, Elder Scrolls 6, is not on PlayStation, it's
at
gonna
delay.
backfire because it's not gonna help goodwill. It's gonna raise a lot of bad will.
Bad will hunting.
It won't be good.
What's
if
the
they do
point
that.
of acquiring these developers if they're not going to be exclusive to help you promote your brand and your console?
That's the dilemma that they're in. You're right.
I think that they should incentivize. You get a
Common
little
sense.
bonus pack.
But
you get an extra
Game
thing.
Why
you
did
know.
you spend billions of dollars to acquire?
I wish they
these?
never did.
Because games as a service is different than console gaming. Games as a service, which they've created and they want to continue to be the, kings of, Game Pass now turns it into Netflix, and that's a different business than selling consoles and moving.
And it's always been famously known that selling consoles is not how these companies make their money. They take a loss on the systems.
Always.
And then they make their money back on the game. So if they're not focusing on making these platforms and maybe putting a little more TLC into the developers,
they want Game Pass everywhere. They want you to be able to just pull out your phone and be like, Game Pass, and that's pretty much their ultimate goal. We're just not there with the, foundational technology of internet and latency.
Well, and the rules.
We'll get there.
They changed the rules with
it might be
iOS.
10 years too early, but we'll get there.
Can't you now stream Xbox games on iOS, or did that not end up? I think they said that you could, but then it still doesn't work or something.
The rule has changed, but they haven't fully updated it to,
We have some good comments here as we wind down a bit. Robert Avella had a good question.
Roberto.
He said, comparing video games to TV series, do you guys think that playing the games, following the storylines are more entertaining, or just following the series itself? So I guess it's kind of to the question of...
you think the shows are more fun to watch than playing the games themselves?
Depends on the quality of the show.
Yeah. I think usually I would rather play the game because it's immersive. It's artwork that you're a part of. You're in it. You have, control over the character and decision making to a degree.
I enjoyed playing Last of Us more than I enjoyed watching it, but I enjoyed watching Fallout more than playing it.
There's a fluidity and a cinematic angle that you're not getting when you're playing Fallout that you're getting when you're watching the show. There is just a level of fluid storytelling that you can stay in tune with.
If it's not done right, like the Halo show, I wouldn't want to watch that over play Halo.
Never, no. Yeah. That's. But it's funny because it's something that I did talk to, Robert Avella's Joe's brother, about when we were watching. I was like, oh, this is great because you're getting a really distilled version of Fallout. That's kind of hard to get when you're playing an open world RPG where, like you were saying, you're on the main quest line, and then some fucking shit goes down, and you kind of get taken in another direction, and you're on a whole other quest line that isn't the main quest line, but it's its own thing.
It requires good memory, too, and discovery and stuff, because, like I was saying to Chris earlier, it was like a lot of the lore shit you're getting from reading on these computer monitors and these abandoned fucking
You're
vaults.
not getting video flashbacks and fucking...
No, I'm like reading the story, and I'm like, what the fuck am I doing here?
A lot of reading.
Right. It's still that.
But it's nice. I like having it's almost like a little bit of book in it as well. I like when you could read a little bit in games for the lore.
Read the rest of the comments.
We have Stephen Bias said, "Listen, Joe gets a tear in his eyes over Halo, all those memories. But let's be honest, Microsoft has fumbled the ball.
Yeah,
it's over.
It's over.
It's not over. I mean, Halo 5 wasn't horrible. We enjoyed playing it. I still want to play it. It's
Halo
not
6.
Infinite. Yeah, Infinite.
Is it? Yeah, whatever. Halo Infinite. It's not an awful game. It doesn't live up to the glory of all the old Halo games.
It's
but
just
if
not
you played
conveniently
it
on my PlayStation.
The whole glory of your Halo games is when you were an Xbox player, and most of your friends played Xbox.
Yeah,
so you're being nostalgic about it,
right? That's because that was it. That's the whole reason why Vin and I are friends. I mean, that's why our whole group.
I'm friends with Steve, but again, it goes back to the time was different because you didn't have all these avenues to play games on. You didn't have, all these different distractions to kind of occupy your entertainment need, and a lot of people were buying into the new brand, which was Xbox, and it did come out with a killer app. Halo was a killer app. It was a system seller. It was a reason for you to be like, oh, dude, you got to play this game. You got to get an Xbox for it. You don't have that now. So a little bit of your feeling about that is nostalgic. And Halo Infinite is actually a really good game. It's just nobody's playing it.
Right? Yeah. It's not available. Like I said, they're at a disadvantage with exclusivity on a multiplayer game. Because if you look at all the other multiplayer games, to your point, you want to play with your friends. But if your friends aren't there,
so by
why are you
that
going to
logic,
jump on?
you're saying that if Sony were to come out with a multiplayer game, which they don't because they're not a multiplayer platform, it should be on Xbox and PC?
If they were trying to compete with, if they were trying to be at the level of Call of Duty.
They made SOCOM. Sure. You're saying SOCOM
Helldivers might come to Xbox. There's been
now.
a lot, but there's been a big... Well, I mean, it's not, you say, but it's not even 6 months old.
It's not.
Whereas Sea of Thieves is 10 years old. You know that because the strategies are evolving.
But Sea of Thieves is a live service game similar to Helldivers. So
Yeah,
they're
Helldivers would
constantly
be-
adding content to Sea of Thieves.
that would be
they are,
the signal that what we're talking about is actually going to come to fruition.
Listen,
is
two hands.
if there's,
scratch my back, I'll scratch yours.
of course, it's good business.
Well, here's my question: what is PlayStation's version of Halo?
But Helldivers
don't
is
have-
a
now-
PlayStation game. It's not a PlayStation
again.
game.
I'm not saying one for one. You're not trading.
No,
off
I'm
fucking
just
games.
asking. There is no PlayStation
SOCOM would
version
be the
of
only-
Halo.
SOCOM would be the only
SOCOM
game
would
that
be
would
the best.
compete in terms of draw that would even maybe get the same amount of players. But again, Sony's doing the PC release thing. They got Ghost of Tsushima coming there. They're integrating trophies into PC now, so you see that they're trying to do the multi-platform jump the way that Microsoft. That's helping Microsoft be on PC and on Xbox. But now you're going to see with the success of Sea of Thieves and the reinvigoration of that game that's 10 years old and a generation old, that it makes business sense to allow some of these games to be crossed over and have that multiplayer aspect. You need your friends to be there to play.
It's almost like the ship has sailed, though, when you have a game that's that old and you put it out and you try to rebrand it and just slap a new coat of paint on it. It's almost like, I don't want to play that anymore.
But it's
Like
also been
AEW.
It'll only
it's
last
also
a
been
little
constantly
while.
getting
Well,
updated.
that's how
though.
I feel about Grand Theft Auto. When you guys play Grand Theft Auto, it's like, I played that 15 years ago, 12 years ago.
Never gets old.
I don't want to play it anymore.
Never
GTA's
gets
just
old.
got-
Just another day in life. It
we're
never
always,
gets old
we're
for
always
me.
getting enough
To each their own. but
entertainment.
New
it's
experiences every
Right.
time.
The stories that
It's just
unfold in GTA Online are unique every single time, because whether you get into a heated battle with somebody and you go back and forth, and whatever happens during that back and forth, there's always something unique that'll happen.
Look, I've killed 1,000 people at that valet station, and every time it's a little bit like I still like new shit will happen, and it's like if you just do the same thing 1,000 times, it'll be different every time.
That's why I don't go on public servers.
Yeah,
Because
you're mean to
griefing him.
people. The victims' rights advocates for GTA, like, oh, why do you have to hurt them? Like, have you fucking ever played GTA? Do you understand what the concept of
a
Grand Theft
wasteland
Auto is?
of
Do you
greed.
realize you get guns and fucking cars and militarized vehicles so you can fucking kill people? Not so
called
you can
Grand
fucking play
Theft
checkers?
Auto. Grand
robbing
Like,
cars.
it's like you've never
Auto.
played this fucking game.
felony criminal.
I'm like, we live in a world where there are people advocating for the rights
It's the
of Grand Theft
it's the
Auto
contradictory
victims of the
thing.
valet. It's just
It's a
insane
curse.
to me. You fucking
I just have to
morons.
give you
Wait. The videos you've been doing there.
Yeah,
Oh
on
my
the
God,
valet
oh, yeah.
videos, people will be like, "Why do you have your?"
Wait.
There are usually we get like a 95%
griefer. You're
like ratio
griefer.
on the valet videos, so you'll get like 200 likes, but then you'll get like 10 dislikes, and it's
This
like, you
is
fucking
staged.
pussies.
This is staged.
Oh yeah, they think it's staged.
This is staged.
I'm asking people, hey, will you let me kill you so I can make a video? Yeah, sure. Like, people are that generous, you stupid fucks. Tune into the next valet live stream so you can see how
I
that
love when I'll
works.
see a comment and then it'll disappear because I know he responded. And, the ones
Oh,
that
yeah.
you respond to don't.
I respond to every one
and
of
I'm
those.
like, this is gonna be good. Ready?
This is staged. Like, you
Oh, yeah? If it
fucking
was staged-
idiot. If it was staged, watch the live stream. You can see it's not staged. Fucking
How could it be
idiots.
staged?
You think players are smarter than they are. The reality is they're not. They are that stupid. They don't realize that I'm not the fucking NPC. They think that I am. Stephen Bias says Joe is really good at Halo. Not Asprey Danielson good, but pretty solid. Man, I love. There's nothing like when you're fucking killing on Halo and you're dominating on a Halo game.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good feeling.
Triple kill.
Robert Avella said, I always thought that
Overkill.
Halo was just an Xbox product,
Ball
but really a
taken.
bright idea from Vin.
Hold the ball. to
Hold the
earn
ball to earn
points.
points.
Ball dropped.
Be interesting. They brought it over.
Ball taken. Ball dropped.
Stephen
Ball
Bias
taken.
said,
Flag dropped.
Joe and I had this argument
Flag captured.
when they brought it with several friends. He and I said there's no chance it goes to PlayStation.
Bomb armed.
No chance, huh? Wow. I don't believe that.
Halo going to PlayStation?
Yeah.
That was
I
just
believe that
no
shit.
way.
It's
I
not
think they'll
it's
do
not
other
Master
things.
Chief going to PlayStation. It's fucking Halo Spartans going to PlayStation.
It's Master Chief going to PlayStation.
It's not
I don't
Chief.
think that they'll do it. I don't
They're already
know.
fucking Chief up with. How could they ruin their image anymore with their shitty show and it doesn't help sell units or make you want to play the fucking game the way it should? What's the fucking worst that can happen? Or you just sit on it and let it die?
The sides are split.
Sucks.
Bungie's now owned by Sony.
Fucking
343 is making Halo for Microsoft.
Yeah, you know what? You know what rumor I hate? fucking Bungie's working on Destiny 3. I don't want Destiny 3, okay? I don't care how good
I'm
Destiny
gonna
2
leave
is,
this
all right?
podcast right now.
I don't fucking care how
You
good
want
it is.
Destiny?
Didn't you say
I
Destiny
want
was
a
done?
different fucking game.
Isn't the story they said it was over? Destiny's over.
First of all,
Whether we wanted to or not, we stepped into a
We're
war
gonna
with
keep
the
playing
cabal on
Destiny
Mars.
for 20
No, I
fucking
thought that
years.
was the whole thing. Is that
They
it's
couldn't
it's
make
done.
Halo
They
for
said
20
it's
years,
done.
but they can make Destiny for 20 fucking years?
it's a better
Fuck!
game than Halo.
Oh,
Much better.
Not
Why?
maybe Halo
How could you
nowadays,
say
but
that?
no.
First of all, I'm the only one that's sitting here that can actually
I know.
talk about
Good.
Destiny.
Good.
You guys have not played it
I
for
played
7
it.
years.
Nah, I didn't play for 7 years.
You haven't touched it since D1.
Destroyed friendships.
You haven't.
Story-
Even Steven.
the
had a
story's
story
out there.
like
They-
that.
they-
Listen, if you're a friend, you're a friend. You're not a fucking piece of shit like the assholes because I didn't do a raid with you. You don't want to talk to. Those are scumbag fucking pieces
You
of
don't
shit.
have the right
If I ever
weapons.
see those
Chris,
kids, they're
you
all
don't have
getting
the
fucking,
Gajala
they're
horn.
all
You
losing
can't-
teeth.
You can't do
That's
the
not a
raid with us
friend.
because you don't have the Gajala horn.
Yeah, there's a lot
Get
of
the
rules,
Gajala horn.
yes,
and
a lot
then
of
yes,
it's like,
divisiveness.
oh man.
Oh, the
Fuck
fucking
Destiny.
sniper rifle fucking thing for that one
Tons.
fucking.
All I wanted was the universal remote on the docking station. And those motherfuckers never gave it
That
to
gun
me.
wasn't
I would
very
be the
good.
#1 player on every fucking
It's
Crucible
RNG.
game.
It's RNG.
RNG
Slot
bullshit.
machines.
They rewarded the worst player and they fucking punished the best player.
Listen, I get your gripes. All of your gripes with Destiny are valid.
Shatter White.
But those chatter white after you do the raid, yes. But those are
Boolean
gripes
Gemini.
or after year
It's a
one of
Boolean,
Destiny 1. Like you didn't stay.
Right.
You didn't weather the storm and see the updates and the improvements that they've made to the game throughout the years.
Sure.
You wrote it off in your head and you didn't want to play it anymore.
Mechanically, the best shooter out. Period. End of sentence. Best gunplay. Best mechanics.
I've been
best
playing it for 10
feeling.
years.
Best
I've been playing 10
feeling
years, I know.
shooting.
I like the
period.
scout rifle.
And just because the only thing that hurts them is that they don't have it's not all ballistic.
If you
based
put
weapons.
Destiny back in your machine and you started Destiny 2, there's so much content, there's so much to do, there's so much loot to get.
It's the same enemies. They just changed the color of them.
It's not the same.
It was. They put out the Taken King and you're fighting fucking Fogoth again. He's just purple this time. It's the same shit. It was the same shit when I played it. And I went back to it. And I've also listened to my friends play it. I listened to Little
Fogoth
Joe
was
and
a great-
Older and
Fogoth
Foe.
was a great fucking boss battle.
Yeah, well, it was great the first
What
fucking two
what
times.
other game that has come out in 10 years can give you raids with 6 people that have epic fucking boss fights, that have
Elder Scrolls
puzzles,
Online.
Stuff
that
that
have
I've wanted.
crazy loot? No, it doesn't.
Elder Scrolls
Elder Scrolls?
Online.
It doesn't. But can you go in PvP after Elder Scrolls? Can you go in Trials of Osiris?
Yeah.
No,
They got a PvP zone.
it's not good.
World of Warcraft.
Yes.
It's not good.
It's better than that fucking dog shit game. Fuck Destiny. And here's where I stand. The reason I'm also still very much fuck Destiny is because
Did you even play Destiny 2?
Bungie should have stayed and fucking kept making good Halo games. They were selfish and killed Halo to make Destiny, and it was not the trade that I wanted.
Listen,
Better game.
I'd rather they stuck and continued.
common
I
thread
played
here.
more Destiny than I
the
have all
common
the Halo
thread.
games combined.
the death of a lot of things, the common thread is Microsoft. So I just want to say it's probably their fucking fault.
Yeah.
They're just good at ruining things. They're good at having ideas, and then they're bad at following through.
Yeah.
It comes down to leadership. And it comes
Right.
down to you have a head of a company who divvies up his leadership responsibilities to other people, where Sony is owned by one person and this is it and this is their brand and
Well,
this is, PlayStation has had a couple different presidents throughout the years, but for the most part it's been structured
Sony
the
knows
same way.
what they are. That's pretty much. They stay true to what they are. They follow through. Microsoft has a habit of just like starting something. And it's kind of good.
Xbox
and then they
tried
fucking
too
let it go.
much to shake things up, to go in different directions.
They did-
They tried to be an alternative to what they were making them profitable in the beginning, which was a great gaming console with the best
great.
live service on 360.
Yeah.
When Xbox Live came out on 360 and you had the Blades, you had the friends list. Like still to this day, if you're on PlayStation, we're all playing PlayStations, we were playing WWE, I can't just press one button and invite the whole party into a game. I have to individually go to your fucking names because it's still not as refined after 15 years as Xbox Live.
No.
So there's things that Microsoft has done, but they made mistakes with Xbox One when they try to make it a fucking platform for watching TV and plug in your TV and watch cable on it and do this and
And they got rid of that.
and then then they had
Then
the
they,
fucking the
Overpriced.
And it always looked like shit because you never even had like TV.
No, then they had to
anything.
connect.
It had a
They had
sidebar.
to connect. It's like, what are you doing? Like, I don't want to sit in front of my TV and fucking play games and,
not the
fucking
Wii,
start
yeah.
dancing. I don't.
Yeah,
We're gonna be
I
the
don't wanna
Wii.
do
We're
that.
gonna be this. We're
I
gonna
don't
be
wanna
that.
do that.
Yeah, I want this. I want to play
Yeah.
fucking good Halo. I
I
want
want
good
to shoot
Halo.
you in the head with a sniper
Give me,
rifle.
yeah, give me
That's
good
what I
Gears
wanted.
of War. Give me good
Yes.
Halo. Sea of Thieves is great. You have, they have the pillars, but they just
The other thing I don't get about them and their fatal flaw is it's always like they have like fucking all this development time, but they always still put out an incomplete game and they're like, well, we ran out of time. Like, even Starfield, they say, well, we had to make sacrifices because we had to put the game out. And
That's
then Halo, we
that's
had to make
most games.
sacrifices.
That's-
There's no assassinations. There's still so much shit that was missing from Halo. There was no Forge for the longest time.
they just
But we needed to get the
re-added-
game out.
They just re-added plasma pistols, deactivate vehicles, and I was like, wait, you
They're
couldn't.
supposed to do it all the time.
There's so
What
much
the
shit
fuck?
that like they cut
Yeah.
from it.
How could you get rid of that? That's part of the.
But yet
The
they
whole
had like
game.
fucking 10 years to make, like they have the time, but they apparently don't have the time. And there's always cuts that are being made. So I don't know. Fuck.
It's a lack of focus.
it's
That's
definitely
why.
disappointing.
That's why, like a team of 100 people can come out with a better game than a team of fucking thousands, and it just seems like there's a lack of focus and direction. They want to do 5 different things all at the same time, and they just can't do that. And it shows every time. Every time. That's
Well,
why
they keep
Helldivers
saying
is
this
better.
time will be different. We're really focusing on Halo this time. We really,
Helldivers
we
are not
really
even
took.
playing it. I don't want to hear about Helldivers.
Well, I have like 150
Yeah,
hours
you
into
know,
Final
yeah,
Fantasy,
yeah, I'm
motherfucker.
not-
Nobody's playing
You
it though.
immediately
He's
put
right.
that game down to play Final Fantasy.
Of course.
Because you wanted to play Final Fantasy more.
Of
Because
course.
Helldivers isn't that good.
That's not true.
Yes, it is.
Nobody's playing it.
He beat it.
I,
It's a lie.
I spent
It's
the
still-
money.
Not
Yeah,
playing
whatever.
it.
None of our friends are playing it, which means nobody's playing it. Because I'm not
Which
going to play
means
with
nobody's
randos.
playing
In the
it.
words
What a
of
bunch of horse shit.
I'm not going to play with randos that fucking kill you just for the fucking
In
thrill
the words
of
of
it.
Chris, it's a jerk off rag game.
Yeah, right. That's bullshit.
Well, we'll
You can
see
tell
if
the player-
people start playing again. But there are a lot of good games that got buried by other good games, and they just.
course.
I mean, there's a. I
the
mean,
natural flow of life.
yeah.
We're
So,
gonna be attracted to the brightest fucking light that's out there.
and there's only so much time.
Will you kill yourself if Grand Theft Auto 6 sucks?
Sucks.
No,
That's
it won't
the-
suck. I'm not even. That's not even something to consider because it just would never happen.
I guess
never
we'll fast
happened.
forward to when it comes out, and we'll be able to clip this episode.
Oh, man.
I mean,
That'll be the
that's
day
one of
we-
the few things in
whenever we
life
get
that I
to
can
that
depend
day.
on is that Grand Theft Auto is at
Whenever-
least there for me, and it's going to be a good game.
It's gonna be
I
horrendous.
didn't like
It's gonna
Grand
be-
Theft Auto 4, man. I'm sorry.
Four, great, best one, great story.
5.
New York City, Nico Bellic. Then they had the Ballad of Gay Tony, which was another. It was a great DLC.
What game can
Um,
you get that experience in? There's no.
They made a better New York City than Spider-Man fucking made,
I don't want
and
to
it's
play
not
as-
even an exact
I don't
model.
want to play as Boris Zukov for my whole time.
Nico
I
Bellic.
lived there. I don't want to fucking speak Russian all day.
Well, he's not. He's from the Balkans, not
yeah,
Russia.
over there, yeah. Chechnya.
Czechoslovakian.
And I mean, he left there. He
He's
kills
an interior
Russian
decorator.
guys. The first guy he
Decorator.
kills was a Russian guy.
Yeah,
So
he
you
killed
know.
8 Chechen rebels on his way out.
He pretty much did. He's pretty much that
Special
guy.
Forces.
Fucking. Let's wrap this up, Rob. Anything? What do we have? Anything interesting coming this next week that we can think of?
No,
It's nothing, right?
I
So-
think next week is going to be the start of the last 3 episodes of X-Men, and that's supposed to be really, really.
Wait, they're putting 3 episodes
explosive.
out in one shot?
No, but 8, 9, and 10 that still have yet to be
Oh.
released, and those are supposed to be the bombshell episodes that are really going to put
Show's
the
good.
show over.
Hell yeah.
I like it.
I'm really, really thoroughly enjoying it,
I hope they take
and
the
I
fucking
can't wait
movies
to
of it.
see what happens next. And
Me and my girlfriend have been watching it on Saturday mornings as we have breakfast. Like
Yeah.
I'm 10 years
people are
older than
complaining like, "Oh, they should have put it on
That's
Saturday
perfect.
mornings." It's like you can still watch it on Saturday mornings. Nobody
what I
fucking
do.
stopping you. You know
That's what I do.
Jesus Christ.
There's
the
nothing
fuck?
like sun being out and you have breakfast in front of you and it's
And I love that they changed the intro each episode, so you get a little different
Nightcrawler.
clips and shit. They should make it illegal to skip the intro of that show.
Nah, you never skip the intro.
Can't skip it. Can never
It's
skip
short and sweet. It's like 20 seconds.
it. And some people they have the option. It's like skip intro. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Do it.
No.
They got to take the movie universe this
Not doing
direction,
that.
too. All the shit they're doing in this.
Oh, can we talk about real quick that
Mark-
Deadpool Wolverine?
Deadpool Wolverine trailer looks fantastic.
Can't wait.
Let's fucking go.
That's going to be fun. It just looks like a fun, funny movie. Chris doesn't care about that.
No, I think I mean,
You
I
don't-
watched the X-Men movies actually. The
You watched
movies at
Deadpool
least.
1 and 2?
I saw Deadpool 1. 2 was the one with Cable.
Yes.
I might have seen 2 also, actually. I'm not as like, I mean, everyone like eats that
It's been
shit
a-
up. They think it's the
been a
funniest
very
thing ever.
long time since we have all gotten together and go to see a movie on day one. So
That'll be
that'll be one. to
I
do.
still
So
never saw Ghostbusters.
I didn't see Logan, so I thought I mean, I was under the I thought he was dead or something. But he was
dead.
Yeah, so I don't know if
We'll
this is
see.
before that or
We'll see how that happens. Yeah, they're gonna touch upon it.
Yeah,
Well, they said it's before Logan, but they also said that it's like another universe that's even more brutal than that one or some shit. So
Things got
knows?
worse.
the
Everyone's really dead.
multiverse type of thing maybe at play.
Oh, very much. Yeah.
hands down.
Comments are blowing up as we're trying
Easy,
to get off the air.
Of course.
I feel like
The longer
that's
we
too
go.
easy.
Help, Hulkamania.
Help me!
Steve Myers is
Same,
still
what do
playing
people
Helldivers.
say?
We'll talk more about X-Men. I'll try to
Raps.
watch some of it. I also want to watch Shogun.
Yeah.
So we can
Shogun
we
is
can't wait.
outstanding. We mentioned it on the last episode, but
It's just very good.
it's one of the best shows.
That's our homework
for a
for
while.
our viewers. To if you haven't already seen it, I'm gonna try to
And
watch
it's
it this
finished
week.
now. All the episodes are out, so you can watch it. It's going to be a one-off show. There's not going to be a second season or anything.
It's a shame.
Better than Game of Thrones.
I wouldn't say that, but I will say that it's an excellent.
Bullshit.
It's been executed excellently. I think the cinematography is fantastic. The acting is fantastic.
You can't compare
It's
it
a
to Game of Thrones.
it's a full
Just shitty.
It's a full story.
the
You know what I
headline.
mean? It's
Yeah, it's not.
Game of Thrones took place in like 6 different countries. Under harsh fucking environments.
sign
This
off.
takes place in one place, so can't even compare it.
But Shogun
So I
is it's an FX show, fantastic. It's on Hulu, and then like we said, Fallout's on Prime. That was another really great show. So
Then we got House of Dragons in June, and then we have
Can't wait.
what else is coming out?
we're getting another Star Wars show. are we
Last of
not?
Us
Yeah, you're right.
season 2. Last of Us. That's this year.
No, they're
Next-
filming that. That's next year.
I'm still
A lot of
kicking
time-
myself.
we're
I got to
way
get
away
back to
from that, I
Bad
thought.
Batch. Bad Batch, the
I have
latest
to watch
season.
that too.
I've got to watch that too because that's such.
Are
a
you
good show.
interested in that Star Wars game that's coming out this year?
I'm on the fence about it. I think I'm gonna wait until it comes out.
It's
I'm
an
not gonna
Ubisoft
pre-order this
game.
one, and I'm gonna see how it plays out.
I'm at like the I'm on the dark side of the moon when it comes to like Star Wars fandom right now.
Yeah.
I'm into other things, so
Yeah.
there's only so much room, so much space, so much time. My attention's been drawn away,
little
but
burnt
it'll
out.
come back. You know,
I just finished
it's-
the first of the 3 Ascendancy Thrawn books, so I'm still always like
it's there,
partially in the
right?
Star Wars mode, but I'm definitely on other stuff right now. But I do need to get back on Bad Batch because I think that's going to be the next show because I'm caught up on everything else.
Stephen Bias wants your Steam names if you're playing on Steam.
I don't
really
even know what it is. I
have to
mean,
look
it's
it up.
Mastermind
Yeah.
343. It's pretty much
For what game?
no E.
Because Steam.
I guess he's playing Helldivers.
Oh,
Steve, are you
Oh, so
playing
can you
Helldivers
play
with
that on
those
Steam?
fucking prick friends of yours from West Virginia? That little
See,
fucking
thanks, Steve.
bitch.
Thank you. I know people are playing this. It's like the number 4 game on fucking Steam right now.
somebody
These
is.
guys are nuts.
Steam.
These guys still playing
My,
GTA.
my friends are not playing it.
Right, well, that's
I
the
would
whole
play it if you guys were fucking not playing
I'm-
single player
I'm
games.
fucking-
point. I would have bought it by now.
You
I thought
gotta get your money's
That's 2
worth.
months
This
ago.
fucking guy talks about
the
getting his
game
money's
came out
worth.
over 2 months ago.
I have
You're
like
not playing
150 hours.
anymore. Yeah, shit.
Help.
You know, it's,
Get my money's worth, you pricks. You guys talk about jerk
Yeah,
off
but-
tissue games. I'm getting almost 200 hours out
You
of
have
the game.
200 hours
It'll
out of
always be there.
Helldivers?
No. I'm saying Final Fantasy.
How many hours do you have on Helldivers?
At least 60. I put like a ton of hours into that game right off the bat. I definitely put over 40 clean.
That's fucking interesting.
in
I,
that.
I'm lucky if I played
Fucking
5
shit.
hours of it. I think.
I mean, you got.
Yeah,
Yo, what do
I
you want me to
think
say? You guys were
likewise.
fucking bitching the whole time. Never had interest
been
in
playing
it anyway.
WWE?
Well, the party
bro?
was always full, so what am I going to do? I'm not going to play with
Right,
randos.
that was always the problem. That was another problem with fucking Destiny.
Well,
Oh, the
that's
party's full,
the
so
deal
you're odd
with
man
games
out.
like this.
Odd man out.
Yeah, not gonna raid with
Also,
us.
I
I
said
don't be friends with you
Helldivers-
anymore.
Helldivers
I danced
should
at your
add
wedding,
the
fucking kissed your wife at your wedding, but you don't want to play fucking games with me because I didn't do the fucking Crota raid. Fuck you.
Helldivers does
You're a
need
bitch.
6-man.
You're a tiny little
raids.
bitch.
It needs raids. I said if
Shows
Helldivers
mad.
had raids, it'd be even more
I'll
fun.
beat the fuck out of you.
It might be
Right.
coming. But I mean, if nobody picks it up again in my friends group, then it was a waste
It's
of my
fun
money.
every time. Every time. It's horde mode. It's fucking Gears of War horde
Except
mode.
when you're
It's
playing
fun.
against the fucking robots. Those things are fucked.
It's the end of the world type shit.
From the
there.
dungeon says he heard George Lucas is coming back to save Star Wars.
Second time I've heard that. Save. That's a dramatic.
Fine save.
Dave Filoni already did that. We already
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's been
Somehow the
saved.
Emperor came
saved.
back, you know.
I mean, if you save the movies, the Star Wars movies, that would be interesting.
And we haven't seen a movie since the fucking last one for a reason, and everything since then has been Dave Filoni.
Well, I think
so.
the next Star Wars movie that they said is going to come out is going to be The Adventures of the Mandalorian and Grogu. Yeah. That's going to be the
What
next
about that
movie.
Ray movie that's coming out?
Fuck that.
I
Fuck
mean,
Ray.
I keep hearing that, so I think Bad Batch has a lot to do with that story. so-
Congratulations, Disney. You're going to put out a Star Wars movie I'm not going to go see in the movie theaters.
You'll see it. You're
You'll see
lying.
it.
You're lying.
Oh,
to
boy,
yourself.
you.
You
the
will.
greatest trick they could pull is if all of a sudden
Fucking
you're
Ray
like, oh,
movie? I ain't spending fucking $25 on that,
That's a
plus another fucking
lie.
$30 on food.
liar.
Greatest trick the devil ever pulled is
Fuck Ray.
convincing the world he didn't exist.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Basically.
All of it.
Kaiser Soze.
It wasn't bad. It was actually good, and we just didn't tell you everything yet. That's how they play it.
It's piece of shit, guys.
It's really that good.
Let me ask you this real quick before we wrap up. This is like going back, but like, Rob, to you as a big Star Wars fan, I know how you feel about them now, but when they ended, after you came out of the theater, when you saw Last Jedi, when you saw Rise of Skywalker, what was your initial impressions? Do you remember?
I remember not
Were you
being
pissed?
happy.
You were not
I
happy.
remember not being happy. I remember certain sequences pissed me off, like the fucking animals running out through the casino and shit. I remember fucking.
Wasn't that a different movie? Wasn't that?
Last Jedi.
That was The Last Jedi. I remember
The casino?
fucking.
Yeah.
Yes. There was
Awful.
fucking.
When Luke is grabbing the blue
the-
milk and
the-
he's twisting
that
the
was
fucking
horrible.
nipple and
Right from the beginning of the movie where he throws the fucking lightsaber. It's like,
We got to go back there again.
what?
We're gonna do this.
he said saving it, so I was like,
Ryan Johnson is the fucking
Go
like
back
devil
there.
when it comes to fucking Star Wars. It's like he purposely fumbled that movie. Just
no,
to
but was
fuck
that
over
your
the
reaction,
fans.
or did you like, oh my god, this was awesome?
I remember
Leia
seeing
and Luke
fucking Princess
together,
Leia
like-
fly through space like Space Mary Poppins. I'm like, what the fuck is this? I remember there was very specific points where I was like, this is fucking hot trash, and I'm not excited for this last movie anymore. Like, because and it
wasn't.
hurt extra because I had gotten to go to Star Wars Celebration the year that movie came out, but before it came out. So The Force Awakens was a decent enough movie that people were still hyped. People were still excited about the next movie. They were revealing all these. Very first, I think, teaser trailer was released at Celebration.
Force
They had
Awakens
all
was
that
like
shit.
when you have to shit, but it's just turtling. It's not quite out yet. And then The Last Jedi is like full on fucking diarrhea. And then The Rise of Skywalker is taking the diarrhea and then smearing all over your fucking face.
I don't think the last one was the worst. I think that was at least.
That was the last shit.
I think it was the feeling of some relief after taking a horrible shit that it wasn't that good. But
No, it was
he
The
helped
Force
save it.
Awakens.
Palpatine's back.
The Force,
Palpatine
the
saved
Force
it.
Awakens was like taking a shit that you didn't get to finish. You feel like there's still more shit.
Yeah, it's turtling.
Then you go, but turtling is when it doesn't come out. This is like some of it came out, but not all of it. Then the second movie is like it's all over the fucking room, and every fucking crevice in the bathroom is covered in shit.
There's shit all
And
over the
then,
walls.
and then the
There's
last
shit
movie is
everywhere.
like trying to take a shit in that room after that happened.
Yeah. It's trying to take a shit in the nasty.
The
ass.
room's already destroyed. Now I have to fucking try to enjoy myself.
They
Shit hits the
cleaned.
fan.
They cleaned up some of the shit. I think in the last.
I
one.
don't think so.
They
little
tried
bit.
to clean the shit, but
They
they
tried
cleaned
to
the
clean
shit
it.
with more
Somehow
shit.
the
I
Emperor
think he
returned.
did
It's
it-
literally a fucking line in the opening fucking
Somehow.
credit. What?
Somehow.
You have fucking billions of fucking dollars from Disney. Somehow the Emperor's back.
Like,
That's
in-
the best shit you could come out
Well,
with.
that's what they
infinite
knew. That's
storylines.
all they knew
You
was
fucking
somehow.
killed all the Skywalkers, and you made a Palpatine the fucking heir to the Skywalker fucking legacy. How the fuck is that the end of Star Wars?
And we didn't
The
even get to
adopted
see
name.
Chewbacca grieve over Han Solo.
Nothing.
Zero.
He didn't even hug Princess Leia when it fucking happened.
Or Luke. Like, terrible.
Never happened.
Terrible.
They don't even.
We
know
never
each
got
other.
the fucking original three back on the screen together. They fucking completely fumbled that shit. That was a fucking Mark Sanchez of fucking Star Wars movies.
Butt fumble.
Wow. You had to open
I
that
get so
wound?
fucking
Wow,
angry
he
thinking
went
about that shit.
Told
that
you
the
I
fact that fucking Ray is getting another fucking movie, they should fucking shoot themselves.
It's not Ray's fault.
fired
But
Well, Daisy Ridley, it's not her fault.
Well,
it
but
is.
did they not
She
have
could have
all
said
three?
fucking no.
Did they not have all three because she passed away, or it was
No,
because
they
they
were
killed
all
off
alive
Han?
when the fucking she
They
didn't
killed
die
off
until the
Han.
third movie came out.
Also, just the idea that fucking she's the seed of Palpatine's a little weird and gross.
I didn't mind that.
She's a fucking Palpatine's
I do agree
bloodline
she
survives,
shouldn't be a
And the
Skywalker.
Skywalkers are all dead. How the fuck does that make Star Wars?
Well, technically, the
They're all
Palpatines
dead.
created the Skywalkers.
No, they didn't.
No.
Plagueis and maybe Palpatine manipulated the midichlorians to create
Plagueis
Anakin in
said
the
that.
first place.
Midichlorians aren't canon anymore. They took that out.
It's not.
No, they didn't.
Plagueis isn't.
You
They
can't
can't.
make it not canon.
It's fucking
Medi-
part of the
yeah,
canon.
prequels. The
Does
prequels are canon.
midichlorian count as
No, I
fucking
mean,
near Yoda's?
Maybe they're not focusing on it anymore because they're saying anyone can learn the Force. They did say
Fucking
that.
idiots. It makes my blood boil because it's
Anyone
like
can learn the
I'm no
Force.
you
one.
get
I'm
something
from
as
nothing.
fantastic as the fucking Mandalorian and all this other shit, and then you fucking force feed us this fucking garbage.
Actually,
And then
the-
they try, and then they double down, like, oh, let's make more of these fucking movies because that'll work. That'll put asses in seats. Everybody wants to see more of fucking Ray.
They don't want to. They don't want to do the time warp. They don't want to do the oh, that never happened, or it happened in an alternate universe. They're just going to try to correct it. That's going to be the goal.
I don't know
I'm
if we
just
can
gonna
save
continue
this.
my life never seeing those movies again and pretend they don't exist.
They need to bring them back through computers and whatnot as younger characters with Thrawn. I think that's what they'll do to save it. Is they'll
There's
give
no
us
way. There's no way you're
know.
gonna have a
Don't
whole
even
movie
do
where the
it.
main characters
Get
are all
over
fucking
it.
CG faced.
There's
well,
a
but they
point
had
in
Luke.
time-
They had Luke show up.
There's a point in time where you need to move on. That these characters need to be assumed by other actors if you want to watch any more about Skywalker.
I think they should
I
have just
prefer
fucking
when they
ended
do
it.
a
shouldn't have
computer
been sequel
versus
trilogy.
a new actor. I think when you look at Han
we had this
Solo,
conversation.
I would rather have a computerized Ford versus that guy who
Did
played
you watch
him.
the beginning of the fucking new Indiana Jones movie?
Want that?
Sure, but I would. The fans would have, I think, enjoy seeing him more than they did the younger actor who played him, and everybody shit all over the Solo movies.
But you can't make a whole fucking movie about that.
No, they don't
even
need
at the
to.
beginning of the Indiana Jones movie, it was questionable. I'm like, this is all CG young Harrison Ford, and it's like
They did
it
a
works
good
for
job.
single frames, but when you have a whole fucking action sequence going, it doesn't fucking work.
You're gonna tell me they didn't do a good job with Luke in the Mandalorian?
He was in it for 3 seconds. He
Exactly,
went
but they
boom,
did
boom,
it
boom,
right.
and that's
They did it right.
Can you get a 2.5 hour movie out of that?
No.
No, but that's not what I'm
Then
asking
why the
for.
fuck did even
I'm
do
saying
it?
they do the Heir to the Empire story with
Fictional
Mando
characters. He's
and with
fictional.
Ahsoka and with these new characters and with Boba, but yet you still maybe have appearances.
Nobody's going to be happy with that.
I don't
Nobody's
think,
going
I
to be
think
happy.
they
Hurry
would. They
up.
already had Luke. People were happy with it.
You better hurry up. They're not getting any younger. Harrison Ford. Mark
Well, I
Hamill.
mean, and Carrie
is
Fisher's
the-
not getting any more alive.
Yeah, exactly. That's my point. Like, what do we do? You just keep bringing these people
Mark
back from the
Hamill's so
dead?
pissed
yeah, but
off.
at
It's like,
some point you have to recast them.
Yes.
Because if you want to, let's say 10 years from now, you're not going to put Mark Hamill or Harrison Ford's not going
one's
to.
10
even
years
gonna
from
know
now,
or
the
care.
AI is going to be fucking
one
insane
even, no
enough.
one even,
that,
no, but we're gonna be dead at some point, and these kids don't give a fuck about Harrison
Yeah, they
Ford.
don't care about him now.
Maybe, but I mean,
The character
we
is
saw
fictional.
Luke, young Luke, AI Luke on fucking screen, and everybody jizzed their fucking pants.
two
What
and
are
a
you
half
talking
minutes.
about?
The only
2
reason
minutes.
that had
It wasn't 2 minutes. He had a whole fucking episode on
was-
Ahsoka where he was training the baby.
it was great,
yeah,
but
He had plenty of time on the camera.
But the
was like 8
reason that it escalated to that level of feeling that is because of how badly that Luke was portrayed in The Last Jedi and The
Yeah,
Rise of Skywalker.
it was redemption.
Because you finally got the Luke that you envisioned in the comics and in the books, a really powerful Jedi master who can fucking bring down a Star Destroyer with his fucking bare hands, which is what he did in the fucking books.
Not sucking
You didn't
on
get
blue
that.
milk
You didn't
nipples.
sucking on blue milk and flipping lightsabers. Okay.
Hate it. Yep, hate it. Hate everything about it.
well, let me live with the porgs on this island by myself. Get
Let's
the
give
fuck
you
outta
a
here.
fucking 5 years of hype to get episode 7 to come out, right? And then let's fucking show trailers where all the original 3 characters are in the movie and you're going to get to see Luke Skywalker. Then you watch a 3-hour fucking movie to see him for 1 second at the end and then make us wait another 2 years for the first fucking 2 seconds of the movie for him to go like that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
His father's lightsaber.
Fuck Ryan Johnson.
like-
He should get AIDS of the cock.
Oh,
Jeez.
where else do you get it?
Well, I definitely agree that he tried too hard to make his mark on it, and that's what they need to protect Star Wars from is these
what
directors
Dave
or
Filoni is.
showrunners. Filoni, and
He's a
he's
steward.
doing it right. They need people who aren't trying too hard to make their mark and make their name off of it. And Filoni, I mean, has made his mark and made his name off of it, but
He's
not
a
in a
Padawan.
way that it's like, I'm Dave Filoni, here it is.
George Lucas doesn't need to come back to Star Wars because you have Dave Filoni, who is the direct descendant of him. He instilled all his knowledge in this guy.
And in some ways, he's doing it better than Lucas, because if you look at Lucas's writing in the
tendencies
fucking goddamn
suck.
Attack of the Clones, the dialogue was so cringe and so
Sand.
bad
Oh, the
that
sand.
they almost, you only like those movies because of nostalgia. But the way
Oh no,
that,
they don't hold up well.
but the
They
way
don't.
Palpatine was portrayed in Revenge of the Sith is fucking cringe.
I
man.
actually hated that shit. Like
I thought it was good,
I didn't
Jason.
start
Yeah.
thinking it was funny until I became friends with you. But I remember watching the fucking movie the first
He
time,
was more
and he's like,
menacing in the first.
"Henceforth, you shall be known as Darth
Vader.
Vader." And I'm
I
like,
loved it.
"What?
I love it.
That's the creation of Darth Vader?"
Guys fucking
Well, what
having
else
an
are they gonna
orgasm.
do? He changed his name,
Well,
obviously.
George Lucas's strong suit was never fucking dialogue. And back when he
No.
made the original trilogy, he had Marshall Lucas tell him, "George, this doesn't fucking
Why-
make sense."
why would he
Change
say
it."
it?
Practically ejaculates all over Anakin in those movies.
And then fucking, and then the prequels come out, and he has all the money and the fucking fame of Star Wars, and nobody fucking questions because he's fucking George Lucas, and then nobody was around to say, "George, this is a fucking
Sucks.
stupid idea, don't do it."
To me, the best of those prequel movies is still, in my opinion, it's not a popular one, Phantom Menace.
Yeah, I agree.
Still the best of the three. I don't care what anybody says. I'll
Yeah,
fuck-
Liam
all
Neeson,
three
you
of the
got Darth
movies have
Maul.
moments that I love, but
I didn't like
I
the
don't-
pod racing shit. I could have
love
done
pod
without
racing.
it.
I like the Bud Racing.
I didn't give a shit.
Yeah, but you get that
I'm
epic
not a
line
Ben-Hur
that give
guy.
us some Watto. You give us the some
Don't
Bulma.
get me wrong. I get the greatest faith in the boy, but Sabarbadera is going to win, I think.
Fuck. No, but I would
on.
agree with that because I absolutely
Darth
hate
Maul.
the Attack of the Clones, and the Revenge of the Sith wasn't terrible. I would say that if I had to stack the prequels to the sequels, the prequels all day,
Yes, yes.
All day.
Oh, without a doubt.
all day.
That's not even.
But
that's
they
not
were
even-
they were so shitted on for so many years. There were all
Yes,
these
but
videos
you know what the
about how
difference is
horrible
now
they
is that the
were.
people that were kids when that shit came out are adults now,
Attack
and
of
they
the- they're
they
nostalgia.
look at it with nostalgia,
Yeah.
whereas the cranky fucking people that saw it in 1977 aren't the vast majority out
Well,
there.
it's Jar
anymore.
Jar
It's
Binks
like,
in the first movie. He pissed a lot of people off.
I'm watching.
And then the second
my
movie,
tongue
they-
is stuck. My tongue.
Listen, I'm watching with Sam, and Sam's like, "Oh, he's funny. I like Jar Jar Binks." And
He's
I
like a
didn't-
really shitty Roger
It's
Rabbit.
like, what the fuck? You like?
I didn't hate Jar Jar either, honestly, but I
couldn't
wasn't
believe
looking
He was
at
a
it with that
poor
critical
replacement
lens.
for the comedic timing that R2 and 3PO had.
The
Because-
problem with Jar Jar is
Sure.
he was too saturated in the movie.
Yeah, yeah.
He was too focused in that movie when the focus should have been on the kid.
They traded Abbott and Costello for fucking Jim Carrey, and it's like nobody was ready for
have
that.
the right tone. It's like this kid is being taken from his mother to start training. Like it needed to go in a darker tone, and then you have a master die right in front of his apprentice, get slaughtered and killed. It just did not have the right fucking tone when you have him doing fucking comical shit on one end. Like, yes, Star Wars is great when it splices in, clever humor like 3PO's humor or Harrison Ford's humor when he, calls her your worship all day. And there's little fun jabs like that. But when you're trying to tell a story of a prequel of how an actual saga started, it just didn't have the right tone.
I think it's tough though because you're trying to appeal to kids, and
You're not
kids.
trying to appeal to
No,
kids.
I'm just saying.
No,
kids in the
people
70s.
watching Star Wars were not kids at this point.
Well,
They're fucking old
I
men
was.
from the 70s
No,
and
I'm
80s.
talking about in the 70s and the 80s.
No,
It was a
they
movie.
tried to alienate those people who love Star Wars, who are now taking their kids to it, and they wanted to attract a new audience.
Yeah,
and
where-
it backfired
what-
on
Well, he
them.
said
what's
it's always
It
been for
fucking
kids.
backfired on them.
The point I'm
it's
trying to
true,
make,
but-
I'm just trying to make one fucking point, is that people and kids and what
Can't
people
start
found as
Star Wars
entertaining
anymore. We just can't.
in the 80s changed from the year 2000 or whatever the prequels came out.
His
You have
writing
a
didn't.
SpongeBob type of
And
kid
his writing
now.
didn't change. His writing
No.
was like 1970 humor.
What's the equivalent in the first movie, A New Hope, to Jar Jar Binks? There is none.
There is
There's
none.
nothing.
C-3PO.
There's nothing that ridiculous. Though.
No, nothing.
There's nothing
like,
that off the
over
wall.
the
So
top.
it's like, why did you go that far? Why did that have
And
to
the
be?
practical effects weren't there. That's what
Bro,
made
that-
you
that
fall in
really
love with
takes out
Star
of it.
Wars. It was too much CGI in those
Yeah,
movies.
Yeah, the flippy.
Old
The
Overkill.
practical, it made it believable. When it was practical, it made it like, oh yeah, I could see this in a galaxy far, far away. Right? It totally translates. You can definitely because the objects are so familiar. You know, whatever, Han Solo's pistol is just a modified World War II pistol.
Mauser.
It's just like, oh, it's familiar. You can see it's real. It's very believable. When you start to see the
bubbles
out of-
underwater and the shields, deflector shields.
Right.
You know,
It's
it
like,
just. Give me some
different time.
Boss Ness.
You, sir, no thinking you, sir, better than we, sir. Me, sir, like this. Maybe we, sir, being friends.
All right. On that note, go home, Yoko.
Guys, it's been another riveting episode of the Break Room Podcast where we shit on Kathleen Kennedy and we love Fallout and we hate
Lot of
Destiny and we also love Destiny and we hate Halo and love Halo and we're just
Hate
all over
everything
the place
podcast.
tonight.
Hate it all.
But thank you so much
Kiss
for
on the
tuning
ball.
in. Thank you for the comments and if you like the show, please hit that subscribe button, that notification button, and please tell your friends because it really is a help to the show.
And tell
Helps
your
us keep
mom
this
we need more
production
females watching.
going. We need,
Oh,
we
yeah.
do.
And tell your mother.
We curse too
Well, I
much.
don't know.
heard.
I don't know.
All the moms like
Moms
Mom's
would be
curse.
happy to
My
watch.
mother-
my mom's
get it?
like,
My
you
mom
curse
cursed
too much.
worse than I did.
My mother
You
would
guys
have
curse
my
so
mother
much.
would not have been happy. with
I don't
Will
want
cursing.
my mom.
God rest his
watching
soul.
this.
No?
But tune in throughout the rest of the week too when we do other streams. You know, Joe maybe will bring back his Tuesday Night Titans WWE 2K stream. Maybe we'll get one of those in a week. Maybe a valet stream. You know, the rest of the shit throughout the week for sure.
And I finally made a Peter Griffin in my 2K24.
Oh yeah, we're working. on
So I have to fine tune it a little bit with the blending and stuff like that. I kind of picked too light of a pink, so like his neck looks weird. But we'll figure it out. And thank you so much for tuning in. This has been the Break Room Podcast. Snoochie Boochies, and may the force be with you.